Hello, Mr. Viewer. Are you out there, sir? Are you viewing? Still there. If you want to come in, the link is in the description. Feel free to join in the chat with me if you would like. Mr. Angry, how are you, sir?
What's going on, man?
Did you try calling me today?
No.
Oh, okay, because I had a couple of missed calls from you.
I was, I think yesterday.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You're a tough guy to reach.
Well, I hardly have my Skype on, but I'm always on YouTube.
I don't know how to contact you through YouTube. I guess just comment on, hey, give me a call.
Well, all you have to do is just like click to go where you're going to view my channel, right? And go to the About section, okay? And where it has, my details and whatnot, you could go there and there's a send message button. And send me a message.
Let me see.
Yeah, if you ever want to get a hold of me or something,
All right. Hold on.
And I answer my messages. I check them every couple of days there if there's anything. But there, the thing that's kind of crazy about the whole thing is that, there's so many messages there that are mangled, garbled, all kinds of stuff all over the place. So it's kind of like hard to, sort out the stuff. But I find them pretty quickly.
Now, where's that? The home page or?
Like you're viewing my channel.
Okay.
And you see my what do you call it? That art up at the top.
Videos, playlist, channels, about.
The page art. Yeah,
Okay.
where it says channels, and then click on about.
Yep.
And you'll see a send message link.
Nope.
Are you serious?
Hold on. That was something else. So hold on. Let me look at quiet.
Huh.
No, not on mine. No, it doesn't. I'm on a tablet though, so it's.
Yeah, them tablets are kind of crazy, man.
It's. I mean, it's a little more than a Samsung phone.
Yeah.
Basically an Android, yeah. It's an Android with a bigger screen.
Yeah. I wanted to have this special show today because I was watching a hangout last night that kind of got on my fucking nerves. Especially when Pillbox was in that hangout. The guy that likes to come to my hangouts and mouth off all the time.
Yeah. I've only had the pleasure once.
Yeah. And he likes to mouth off pretty much any chance that he gets. And I'm like, well, what the fuck, dude?
Oh, I'm sure. Like, yeah.
But he had said some shit last night that got me pretty pissed off. So I wanted to make a show today to make fun of those fucking idiots.
What things did he say?
That the Oregon shooting was fake.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean,
And I was like, oh fuck, dude. And this is oh man, I about had enough.
that stuff doesn't make me angry. It's just meh. I mean, if you want to think that, go sit in your own corner and dwell on that all you want. Just I don't know.
Yeah. it was pretty interesting, dude. I mean, I sat there. I
I'm
sat
more
there.
annoyed at the people that said, if more people had guns, it could have been prevented. No, because after the third person pulls out the gun, who does the fourth person shoot at? Or the fifth, or the sixth, or the 17th? It's, oh. You hear about the good guy with the gun story today? Was
The what?
it yesterday or today? The good guy with the gun?
Where?
I'm not sure where. It was I think it was TYT did a thing on it or something.
Oh,
But,
I'll have to look. I'll have to look.
Two guys were carjacking somebody.
Oh shit.
And there was a, right-wing good guy with a gun there, and he said, dun, 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 pulled out the gun and shot the guy that was being carjacked in the head.
Oh,
and
wow.
Two carjackers jumped in the car.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that video from the Young Turks. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I remember watching it. Yeah.
That is fucking, yep. Imagine if that was a crowded place and like 17 people were carrying guns, and after he shot that shot, that all of a sudden,
Yeah, it would have been a messy scene.
The OK Corral. I mean, nobody knows who the fuck the bad guy is. Just shoot everyone.
Yeah. It would have been a messy scene. I guarantee it. And it's just like people don't think about that. They just right away want to carry guns all over the place. They want to do all this. They want to do that. It's insane.
I don't know. I think colleges and campuses and schools should have armed guards, maybe even police officers.
Well, the colleges already have police forces.
Well, no, they have the college's security. Their own. I'm saying county sheriffs, like two deputies that are just at that school at all times being bored. They don't handle the fucking little, bullshit. It's just in case something pops off, they're there.
But to get something like that to actually happen, fuck.
Fuck, man.
Shit. You'd have a better chance of jumping off the Empire State Building and surviving than something like that happening.
You think the sheriff could spare two guys to protect students?
Yeah. What's up, Paul?
Not much. Just got here.
Oh, cool. What you been up to today?
Nothing. Just getting a few things done before my trip, and tomorrow I'll pack.
That's good. So how long did you say you were going to be gone for?
At least a week.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I might be on the air later on at night, but like I said, I'll be gone for at least a week.
Yeah. Right on. You get to get out, and like I told you last time, do some chilling out.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I watched the Hangout last night, man, and fucking Pillbox, man. I couldn't take it. He's over there saying that the Oregon mass shootings were fucking fake. I was like, oh no, I gotta leave, man. And they were talking about all kinds of stupid shit in Rose's Hangout, man. And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna make a Hangout to make fun of these people.
Sure, they're fake, and what's the premise for them being fake?
Yeah. Well, the thing that spawned the whole conversation between those guys is the fact that they mentioned, Pillbox mentioned, Sandy Hook's tragedy was fake because the birth certificates were forged. And I'm like, really? Not the birth certificates, the death certificates. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, there's people at work. I work at Staples, and there's still people that think the moon landing was fake.
The moon landing was fake.
They think the Earth's flat. I mean,
I had a guy tell me today, well, can you show me a real picture of the Earth? Can you show me an actual picture of the Earth?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my son on the other thing, but
There's people that say the Titanic never sunk.
I know, right?
Well, it didn't hit an iceberg anyway.
so I still want to know what the premise is
For what?
Yeah.
for faking, these shootings.
Yeah, that's something I would like to know. You know what I mean?
Because
Yeah.
they say it's to take away their guns, but
No.
do they know how hard that would be?
Oh yeah.
That's just.
Oh yeah.
They need their guns.
They're not going to take guns. No.
Yeah, nobody's gonna take no damn guns. You know what I mean? It's just these people are so fucking. These people are so fucking
out armed as it is. Doesn't matter what the fuck kind of weapons you have. You would never compete with the armed forces because they're motherfucking armed.
Yeah, but irregardless of that, the whole premise is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because I know when I was in the service, we would hear people say, well, the military will take our guns. I said, I'm part of the military. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
Right.
What makes them think that they're blind leaders? All their kids are going to now take their guns? Grow up.
Exactly.
I would agree.
Hey, Miss Magulator 1, I can see you. What you been up to? Hello, Magulator 1. I can see you perfectly.
I mean, what do you think, the people in the military are just blindly following or something?
What's that?
What do they think, the guys in the military just blindly lead their leaders? I mean, follow. Yeah, I'll get it right yet. Do they think the guys in the service just blindly follow the leaders?
Oh no, they for one thing, the military wouldn't do something like that. They wouldn't, come onto the American citizens like that and take their shit away from them.
Right, it wouldn't happen. So I don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're a bunch of paranoid idiots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they sit in the corners of their little dark rooms, biting their fingernails and trying to figure something out so they could be entertained for the day. That's about the only truth to it.
Been hearing this shit all my life.
And then they have the audacity to say that we're the ones that don't know the truth, or we're the ones that like to believe lies and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's insanity, Paul.
I say I've been hearing this all my life. I mean, more so the last few decades, but I've been hearing this crap all my life. Nothing has ever happened. No legislation has ever gone forward to take away guns. Nothing. Zilch. Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they right away accuse Obama of saying that he's going to take away guns and shit. I've never once heard him say that.
Yeah. But see, my whole premise of the whole thing is, or my whole idea behind the whole thing is, if you can make up anything about the most important being in the universe, your God, if they can make up anything about that, why can't they make up shit about everything else? Because if they can do it for the most important thing, all the trivial stuff, that's not a problem.
Yep. I agree. It's just, I don't know what these guys are up to these days. Do you know if the Jade Helm project thing is over already, Paul, or no?
The what project?
The Jade Helm project, where the U.S. military is supposed to train in urban areas here in Texas and a couple other states.
Tell you the truth, no, because it means nothing to me.
Oh, okay. Well, good answer.
Yeah, like they do that shit every so often. What's new?
Yeah.
I mean, lately, I mean, for years, how many decades did I see them going up and down the interstates in caravans? Nobody ever said anything about that. You go by there and you wave.
Yeah. Yep.
Paranoid schizophrenics.
Mm-hmm. There's medicine for that kind of shit.
Should be some brain food.
Maybe some, what do you call it? Maybe some shock treatments there, Paul. Would that work?
I don't know what will work. I really don't. I don't know what drives people to such insanity on that stuff. There's so many real things to worry about. So many real things that should be taken care of.
Yeah.
And all they go is they ramp on about stuff that they can't do nothing about anyway. That's the reason I guess they bring it up.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't cost them anything. Anything that costs them anything, they're not interested in.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with these people, you know. They're worried about the little fetus and all that stuff, you know. But as soon as that baby's born, they don't know where it is. They ain't going to put it to schools. They ain't going to provide college. They ain't going to provide anything that all these little babies.
Yeah.
Once they're born, they don't give a rat's ass.
You know, an interesting thing that was brought up in the chat, Maculator One said that, you know, they make videos 20 minutes after a tragedy hits the news and call it a hoax. Hundreds do it on here. Then that leads to stalking and harassing of the victims and, you know, of the victims' families and stuff. Yeah. And she also said that the Sandy Hook family members are still being harassed to this day. Yeah, they enjoy that kind of shit, Paul, and it's disgusting. You know? They can't find anything else better to do because their own lives are miserable. So in turn, they want to make everybody else's lives miserable by making these ridiculous accusations and then trying to get a petition signed so that they can go and dig up the Sandy Hook victims to prove that they're actually dead. Really?
And if they do that, then they'll say, oh, those are fake bodies. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Absolutely doesn't matter. It's like, you know, you
stole those bodies from another graveyard and buried them here.
Just like a fundamentalist Christian. They don't give a fuck about the truth.
No. Like I say, Pillbox, you know, and he starts that stuff with, I can take him not far from here, within 20 miles. I can show him all kinds of foot fossils, all kinds of other fossils in rocks, and there'll still be a denial.
Yeah. It's just fucking insane, Paul. I mean, these people. Last night, dude, I have to admit, I was so fucking pissed off. You know, I felt like trolling them, man, but I said, no, I better not, because, you know, they started talking about how everything's connecting together for the end times and shit. Now they're trying to come up with a new fucking date, and now they're basically saying that, well, you know, being that this tragedy happened in Oregon, and then on top of that, the Pope showed up in the United States and met with Barack Obama, the Antichrist. Oh, fuck. Revelations, the rapture. They're going to bring the devil to rule over earth for a period of 7 years.
The devil. So an archangel has a lot of power.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how Eve has more power than God's to corrupt the earth?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look! One of my my subscribers told me that I already have one dislike. Must be a conspiracy theorist. I have to laugh. I told you motherfuckers out there that I was gonna make this fucking hangout and make fun of you. You guys done pissed me off. I was gonna make a video debunking all of your horse shit, but I said no, I ain't gonna sit here and waste my time with my video editor and do that stupid shit. I'm just gonna do a hangout and make fun of you.
You say a bunch of children.
I mean, they're creationists, so their opinion really doesn't weigh much.
No. It never really meant much. It never really mattered. You know, they just like to believe all this bullshit.
Why, it takes no education.
Yeah. They rather, yeah, well, you got a point there, Paul. It doesn't take an education to believe a lie.
You know, I should have finished it up to go after at least my bachelor's degree on electronics. And just doing that, when you see how much studying you have to do just to get a bachelor's degree.
Damn.
You know, let alone go up the ladder, you know, and eventually a master's and a doctorate. You know, if you see all that's involved, any kind of discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys just, oh, I don't believe in it. I can't understand it. I ain't spent no time understanding anything. I haven't read anything.
Yeah.
That's what he can make armies so easy. It takes no intelligence to make an army. Because destruction is an easy thing to do. Building takes its skill.
Yep. It's easier to dirty fucking dishes than to clean them. So they'd rather settle for dirtying the dishes instead of actually cleaning the motherfuckers. That's okay. You know, because last night I was motivated rather quickly to have this hangout tonight, and I wanted to start a little early. So I'm glad I don't know if I interrupted you going to bed, Paul, or not, but if I did, I apologize.
No. Like I say, tomorrow night, if I get on, I'll only probably be for a little while because I want to get to bed early.
Yeah.
Because I have like a 10-hour drive one day and an 8-hour drive the next day at least, if not longer. It's about 20 hours altogether, drive time.
Yeah. If anybody else wants to come in and help me make fun of these people, the link is in the description and down below. I'll be more than happy to have you in here. And by the way, I finished another video today. I got it done, edited everything. It's on my hard drive right now. I just got to upload it to YouTube later. Did a little bit of work today on my video and some other stuff.
Yesterday was busy. Well, not a lot of stuff. Just get the car ready.
Yeah.
Have the oil changed. Do some shopping. Get a few things taken care of. I did a few things. Tomorrow's just going to be easy, basically. Packing clothes takes no time.
Yeah.
Get my camera equipment together.
Right on.
And Monday morning, early, head north and west.
That works. What are you going to do when you're over there? Are you going to go sightseeing, Paul?
Well, maybe I want to see my friend and his wife, you know, JJ and Linda.
Yeah.
And hopefully I get at least maybe sometime seeing Deity 3D.
Oh, wow, yeah. She lives over there too, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a bus driver now.
Oh, wow. For high schools or?
No, as far as I know, public.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Public transportation, I see. That works. And you get to see her. Make sure and do some videos though, Paul.
Well, we'll see what happens, you know. I mean,
yeah. I just think it would be interesting to see you guys together making a video or something, hanging out or something, you know?
No, I'm not. I have no expectations.
Yeah.
Every time I make plans, it never comes out anywhere close to what I hope. So
Yeah.
I'll just go there and see what develops.
Yeah.
Wait a second, I got to kill something.
Just take each day as it goes by. So what was your day like today, Ingrid?
Long. Yeah, pretty long. I had to wake up early this morning with the kid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've had a pretty long day. Considering I think I went to sleep around 5 and wake up around 8:30. So,
Yeah. Did you do any? Did you
almost
do?
died right now. Huh?
Did you do any gaming?
No.
Oh. Okay.
Kid all day.
Oh.
You know, played games and
Yeah.
did some frustration. Reading.
Yeah.
Nothing's more frustrating than getting a 5-year-old to read. It's the craziest thing. She can spell. If you say a word, she's 5, so it's the simplest thing, you know. But if you say spell mine, she can break it apart, and she can my mine and then what do you have to do to make the A hard, you know? And
Oh.
so she can do that, but then when you put the word, fine in front of her, she goes f
No.
a n e f a n e. I'm like, no, there's no word f a n e in the English language. That is,
Yeah.
I promise you, that's a 1-syllable word. You know. So what does the E do? It makes A hard. Okay, so what are the sounds? You know, or that makes I hard. F I N. You know, yeah, it's frustrating.
How old are you? Frustrated with that? I think you're.
Oh no, but I'm saying she can't blend the sounds. She can't go fine. F I N. And then she looks at you like she got it right, and it's like, no. Those aren't 3 different sounds. They all blend together. And she just can't get she can break them apart, but she can't put them back together.
Don't worry about it. She's young.
I know. I have to let it go and, move on to something else.
No, because I remember years ago sometime somebody was, teaching a kid, and, when you want to make a word plural, you add an S.
Mm-hmm.
Except for mice.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's always exceptions to that. There are hangovers from Old English. But anyway, so she says, mouses. No, it's not mouses. Mice. And one day it clicks. So one day she'll be sitting there, and all of a sudden they'll click. So big deal.
Oh, no, she can count to 100. She can write up to 100. So.
Yeah, fine.
She's not behind or anything.
No, one day it'll click.
Yeah. No. That's why, but it's just, it's frustrating though.
What is exactly frustrating?
The way she can't put the sounds together. She can't blend them. She can't she can't CHAT and go at.
Oh yeah.
She goes at. No, it's not a at. At is nothing that exists in our world. It's a thing you've heard. You have one. Just put the sounds together and you'll be able. It's a at. No, not at. It's one sound. Blend. Yeah. But then if you say how do you spell hat, she can sit there and go H A T
yeah.
HAT. It's like fuck, how can you spell but can't read?
Don't
What's
worry
that?
about it. Don't worry about it.
I know.
Yeah, just give her a little time. You know, it'll develop.
Hmm.
You're getting frustrated about nothing.
Yeah, no, I don't get that frustrated about it because I mean, like I said, she can spell, so I mean, she's halfway
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And she'll figure it out.
Oh yeah.
She's been in school 2 months, so
Yeah.
I remember kindergarten. We were drawing X's in boxes and taking naps. I mean, I'm pretty sure in kindergarten I thought elemento was one letter.
Yeah, well, wait till she starts telling you how E equals MC squared works.
Hmm. Yeah, she's good at math. Really is.
Yeah. I mean, when I was in the 3rd grade, I was able to do basic algebra already almost.
There's nothing more humbling than getting your ass handed to you on a regular basis that matches.
Yeah.
You know, you match the 2 cards. She's got a huge set. It's got 23 pairs, and it's
Yeah.
all frozen character pictures. You know,
Yeah.
she whoops my ass all the fucking time.
Are you guys familiar with the Vigilant Christian or no?
The Village Idiot Christian Mario.
Oh, I guess you are familiar with him then.
I might have heard of him, but I don't think I ever seen him.
Yeah, well, yeah, a guy in the chat by Jacob Rustan was telling me that a lot of Christians are saying that he's only in it for the money that he makes off of his channel and shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It reminds me of Venom Train X.
Yeah,
Okay, we're in a capitalist society, and we're surprised about this.
not me.
Everything anyone does is about that, you know, shit.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if somebody was in this society that didn't try to make money off of stuff. I mean,
Well, I know who he is. I just don't pay attention to him. I mean, he might have. I know that he had what, just a little over 250,000 subscribers, but his videos are crap to me. So
You'd be surprised how much money stupid people have.
yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, well, I bet you. Does he have a Patreon page? Probably.
Oh yeah.
I know a lot of these people do probably.
I don't know if they do though. They probably do it throughout because you can go to Patreon and see how much they're getting, and they don't like that.
Yeah.
They like that to be all, no, we need money. You know, they don't want you knowing they get 20 grand a month.
Yeah, 20
Well, I
grand a
don't. I'm
month.
not saying I don't. They don't. I don't think they get anything like that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Even $500 a month is fucking more than they're worth.
Yeah.
Spreading misinformation.
Yep.
oh, Pillbox.
Now I did see one today. Oh fuck! It was D News. I think it was. It was an old one. It was in my recommended box, and it said it was conspiracies that we shouldn't believe anymore. And one of them was about the fucking moon landing. You know how people say that's a hoax. But he
Yeah.
said something that didn't make any fucking sense. He said, "Get a telescope and look at the flag." The last I checked, that's all impossible. You can't see the flag from the Earth, right? You can't see
Well,
anything.
I
No
must say-
cracks. You can't see shit on because of the how far it is.
Well, if you have one of those, what do you call it? I don't know how good you can see with them, but if you have one of those, what do you
Not
call
even
them?
not even the Hubble will do it. You have to have a 200. I looked up. It's like something like a 200 meter diameter lens or mirror on your telescope. It has to be 200 meters diameter. That's twice as large as the biggest one we have.
You mean to say that not even in these powerful telescopes that we have in the observatories can see it either?
Nope.
See what? See what?
All the
Sorry,
everything we left on the moon, the tracks and all that.
No, they have a satellite that it shows
Yes.
up the tracks halfway decently.
There's a satellite that's going around the moon that's taking pictures, and that gives us. But he said, get a telescope and look. And then he said, get a laser and point it at the the mirror they left up there to measure the distance. And it's like, you know how insanely expensive it would be to build a contraption that would allow you to point a laser to a 1 meter. I don't even know how fucking small the mirror is, but even a football field.
Yeah.
You have to make microscopic adjustments, and it'd have to be
No. What, you talk about us shining a laser up there, right?
from your backyard. Yes.
Yeah, that won't be hard.
And hitting a thing the size.
A laser by that. Listen. A laser by that time will have pretty much spread out to the size of the moon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Right.
it's not going to stay real tight.
Stay
that
condensed
low
like that?
distance.
Okay. All right. Then I'll give him a pass on that part, though. But I'm pretty fucking sure you can't see anything from any telescope you're going to go buy at the store.
No.
And he said those words: go buy a telescope and look at and see all the tracks in the rover and blah 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 we left on the moon.
Well,
And he started off the video talking about, and I should have something to say about this because I'm kind of a scientist. I don't know, I paraphrased, but that's basically what he said.
well,
Yeah.
If you have to say it, you're not.
And it was D News guy. That's
Okay.
the thing that pissed
I
me
got
off.
two things going on here. Wait a second.
Sorry.
Back off from that mic.
Wow.
Well.
Who, me? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you're loud.
God damn it. Well,
Gotta get away from that mic. Give it a break. Dude, bust its diaphragm.
it's on the back side of my tablet. It shouldn't be that loud.
Don't care where it is. I can't see it with my telescope.
I can't see it in my telescope. Oh shit. Oh fuck. I don't know, man. They should, for all of these people, they should just fly them up there. So number one, they could prove that the Earth is flat or round, and then number two.
No, they don't get any fucking rewards for being fucking willfully ignorant.
Take
I know the Earth's round. Take me up and show me that shit.
Yeah.
I'll take a picture and show that shit to them. Fuck them. If anyone's going to space, it's me.
But these conspiracy theory idiots, they'll deny the photographs and they'll say that they faked.
I don't care what they fucking do. I got to go to space. Fuck them. Their opinion doesn't weigh with me at all. They think the Earth is flat. They fucking
Could have fooled me.
opinion is worthless.
Could have fooled me because I was in Thailand. It was dark, and my uncle was he called me from Pennsylvania, and he was in the light.
Right.
About 12 hours difference between where I was.
He recorded that. It was a elaborate hoax that he was playing on you. He pre-recorded his half of the conversation. He just knew what you were going to say. You're predictable.
An elaborate hoax.
Yeah, even the Russians are in on it.
Yeah. I think his birth was an elaborate hoax. I think it's just an autonomous robot walking around with no dick.
But see, they explain that away like the sun's kind of like a flashlight, and it's going around the edge of the disc.
Ah. But how is it not hit all the disc at once?
Huh?
Okay, they have to.
It's got a lampshade on it. It's got a big lampshade around it. That's why.
Oh, they've got a lampshade around it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Dude, you didn't know that? Come on.
Oh, my. See all the elaborate stuff they have to do to make it work? And if you look at the real reality, how simple it all falls into place.
The moon's LED.
Well, it's like those idiots that think the moon's
LCD, the sun's LED.
I can't step down that far.
The Earth is flat. We should throw it around like a frisbee.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots. Damn, man. It's insane what they talk about these days.
You know, though, did you know the sun doesn't really revolve
Shine?
the Earth like you think it does? The Earth's actually kind of doing more of a corkscrew through the universe, and the sun is in the middle of the corkscrew.
Yeah, so?
I'm just saying, we don't really go around the Earth. Like next year, we will be millions and millions and millions and millions of miles from where we are right now.
Yeah.
But some people don't know that. Some people think we're fixed, just spinning around the sun.
Yeah, that's how, you know, that's why the ghosts get lost, you know. Being non-material, they just fall through the earth and get left behind.
Floating in space.
Yep.
That's fun.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? A ghost can walk, but it not fall through the earth, but it can't go through walls.
I know, right? That's the shit. Oh yeah, well, I'm gonna walk through this wall here. I'm gonna walk through this bank vault and check it all out, but for some reason they don't fucking fall through the ground.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh fuck, man.
Because they don't exist.
Huh?
So that's mostly because they don't exist.
Yeah. It's just a pipe dream conjured up by people who don't want to understand reality and what it has to offer. They rather believe in fantasy, pink dragons and unicorns and gods and all of that ooey gooey shit that makes you feel good when you go to sleep at night.
Yeah, they don't even know how the universe works, and they need magic.
It's magic.
The universe is magical all by itself, without playing any silly games.
Yep.
Every day we explain away more and more of their magic. So there will be a time when people will realize that that it's a process.
Well, enough people ridicule them that they thought were friends because everybody else starts clicking. What are they going to do? And everybody starts to really catch on, and there are like 3 or 4 left of them.
Yeah.
It's only because they back each other up on their stupidity.
Yep. And they really love to do that. They herd into a bunch of groups, and they constantly shout at the top of their lungs like if they're talking the truth. The earth is flat. There's something going on with all of these mass shootings, or the reptilians are coming, or lizard people, or whatever the fuck they're talking about that day that gives them a hard on.
Well, let's see, back in the good old days, you used to be able to tell people were a little bit wacko to go out west, and you hope something would eat them. Now they hang around and kill. So.
You ever play Wagon Trail?
No.
What was it, the 80s? On the old Apple IIes? Remember that?
I never had an Apple.
No? Oh, was it? Well, actually, yeah.
Unless it was red.
It was long after your time. It was a school thing. I don't know.
Long after my time.
There was Oregon Trail and Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. Those are the two games you had to choose from, and every time on Oregon Trail, everyone would die of malaria and fucking. Oh man, you never made it to Oregon.
I used to play that game in school when I used to go. Yeah.
Yeah, and Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Yep. You had to chase her all over the place.
Yep.
And then sometimes you caught her, or sometimes whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe they could figure out a game to play for the conspiracy theorists. Maybe they can figure out one where they catch the missing link, or fucking Bigfoot, or fucking the Loch Ness monster, masturbating in the fucking lake. Who knows?
Do any of these people understand that any species Bible had to have a good sized population to keep the gene pool good?
Yeah.
And they don't have it.
Yep.
Yeah.
They don't have it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't last that long.
Look at how decimated the cheetah is. It got dropped down to critical mass. The numbers of cheetahs.
Yeah, you can take any cheetah's skin and graft it to another cheetah, no rejection.
Yep. Yeah. And they're really diseases running rampant through them because of it. Shit.
Yeah, because you need diversity in your gene pool to hopefully survive something.
That's right, yeah. They say Noah's Ark, there's no fucking way. There's no species shows a bottle. Well, not no species, there are, but there's no,
Not to that, so even the cheetah's not that restricted.
Yeah, right. I guess I could say no species shows being dropped down into the 2s and 4s or 6s, whatever it is.
So is the cheetah have the top speed of 65 or 75 miles an hour, or 65 or 70 miles an hour?
65?
So I think 65-ish.
Oh, okay.
60s come to mind.
Yeah.
But not for long.
Oh no, they won't be able to maintain that speed for a while because they tire out right away.
Yeah.
The heart is too
fact?
small.
Huh?
Their heart's too small.
Yeah.
Respiratory system.
And the fastest animal on Earth is a bird. I don't forget what kind it is, though.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. It's probably a hawk and a dive.
Yeah, they dive fucking fast as fuck.
Yeah. And then we got the biggest land mammal now we got is an elephant, I believe.
Is that truth?
Yeah.
What's going on, Mr. Truth?
No, you're not going to play shit. Stop.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
We're just here making fun of conspiracy theorists.
Oh, one of my favorite pastimes.
Yeah, because apparently they don't like it because I already got 2 dislikes.
Ew? That's probably my doing.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this looks like it's just started.
What's that?
Hey, Paul.
Hello.
How you doing, bud? Loving the images. Is that the profile view of your former occupation?
Not walking around on planes, loading them with bombs.
Yeah. Right.
But one day, well, if you look at the ones in the back, you got the wings, right? You got the external fuel tanks.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of times the crew chief will leave put a ladder laying against that, so they can climb up. So the crew chief was there, and I said, "Hey, can I go up?" And he said, "Yeah, just stay between the black lines." And that's the last I seen of him. He trusted me. He just went away.
That's awesome. Wow, man.
So
You must have a really interesting. I mean, you might even want to do a collage or something, like do a scrapbook of it online or that, because it could be quite interesting. You know, you see footage of some Air Force material that isn't even commissioned anymore.
yeah, well, I've gone on about 8 different military Facebook sites.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, cool.
Okay, and drop some pictures. So I might start looking again and drop
Are
some
we
other
looking at
ones.
the belt being loaded in there? Is that the belt going in?
No, they're working on the gun. The belts are always there. Well,
Oh,
I
okay.
can. I mean, they might, of course, hook up, but
Right.
my only job on
Fascinating.
that whole thing was just to right where the arrow is, back in that area is that little hatch, and we just put the ammo cans up in there. We didn't handle the guns.
Right. Auto loader for the most part, eh?
Excuse me?
Auto load. Like it can swap what do they call it? The container?
No, no, no. When they're empty, they're empty.
Okay, cool. Okay.
And the last 2 miles, they had a Falcon cannon.
Cool, yeah. I love the Vulcan. I mean, it's hard for me to resist, but like I get a real boner when it, you know, you
Wow.
know, you hear
My
a Vulcan
last-
going off, just that.
Okay, this was my last year in SAC. I was 3 years in SAC. When I came back, I went to TAC, and they had the 105, and that had the Vulcan cannon in it. And I went to the gun shop. That thing's real easy to take apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you take the nose clamp off, slide that off. Each barrel, you give a third turn, they come right out. The
Yeah.
housing, you just, there's, I forget how many bolts on each side, but just maybe 8, not that many. The housing comes apart. It's simple
It's amazing,
concept.
isn't it, Paul? 160, 140 years later, and we're still using Gatling's fucking same pattern.
Damn.
Well, the reason for that, heat.
Because it works.
Heat.
It's simple and it works.
Yeah. But it's heat,
Yeah, well, each barrel gets enough time to cool down before it gets fired again. That was the whole point. Even though it was a hand-wound bang, 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 bang. I mean, you just ask those poor Zulu sons of bitches.
Like I
Bloody
said,
was it? Less than 300 Britons with rifles, bayonets, and I think 2 or 3 early pre-Vickers Tommy guns, Gatling guns. So they would have been hand-wound copper cables. They destroyed something like 3,000 or 4,000 Zulus in one day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm trying to remember the name of that battle. The English lost 100 men, and both sides had an incredible respect for each other after that. The Zulus were just amazed by their technology and their inability to break. What they didn't realize is they'd been told by the higher ups back in England that they weren't allowed to. So it was a whole, no foot back sort of scenario for the British, and they had too many wounded on site to leave the site, so they actually couldn't leave because the place was basically a hospital site, and the Zulus were just trying to push them out of the territory. But yeah, a lot of Zulus died. A lot of fierce hand-to-hand fighting. I'm just trying to remember the name of that battle. I'm going to Google it now.
Wow.
There's Rook's Drift, which is the one I'm thinking of, but an even bigger battle was a little while after that, which was the Islamanda in Iswana, which is the Anglo-Zulu Wars, the climax of that. I'm just trying to see how many people died in that. But
Yeah.
not lots of people by modern war standards, because obviously not everyone's got a gun or a fully automatic, but still epic. And one of the things about, the other thing I get about a boner about when it comes to war and that is when there's camaraderie between enemies, like the Turks and the Anzacs in the First World War just stopped and went out and shook hands and shared cigarettes for a while, and then went back to shooting each other. Sort of like a mutual respect for a formidable enemy. The Zulus did a Shaka Zulu salute to the British soldiers, and the British soldiers all took their hats off and went huzzah, huzzah, huzzah to the Zulus after their final charge, which is basically saying to each other, well done, mate, well done. And that's, I don't know. If I think the modern terms of warfare had the same level of mutual respect, it would actually be a lot more congruent thing than it currently is, which is essentially like we don't see it here in our nice, comfortable Western nations, but there's pockets of genocide going on all around the world. Except we hear the conflict in such and such is accelerating as blah blah blah. People are pushed out of their homes, and where are they pushed into? The fucking rice paddies where they've been chopped up by 50 cows.
Those poor Christians.
Damn.
A lot of them are Christians because the Christians, the Coptic Christians, especially in Egypt, especially in North America, they're a minority in what is essentially sometimes Buddhist, but more often than not Islamist outfits, trying to fucking squeeze them out of what they believe to be their land, the Greater Caliphate. That's what the Black Flag's all about, and don't let any fucking self-loathing Westerner tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
So what about, hey, so did you see the Racist Ruse latest video? Or videos? I didn't watch the second half. But
Oh, about chunky yogurt.
about how fucking insanely fucking racist he is?
I honestly
Oh.
angry. I mean, I honestly can't tell whether you're joking or whether you're like, I don't know, taking the piss or.
Oh. Wait, who's racist?
You know what'd be funny,
The
angry?
Racist Ruse.
Bro, you know what'd be funny if we gave you a full
Racism is unstoppable for.
He's about as racist as I am.
Yeah, exactly.
That's horrible, Paul. You shouldn't, dude, you shouldn't.
He is not racist.
Oh my god. I bet you, angry. I bet you, if we gave you 5 solid minutes uninterrupted, and like even the time to research it, you couldn't actually produce one quote from the Roo which actually connotated racism. And on top of that, you couldn't take his body of work or do a field of research or even cite a single paper that would suggest that anything he's done would even constitute anything like a racist conduct, behavior, or attitude. In fact, it's about as strictly classic liberal egalitarian as one can get. He's holding people of color in the United States to the exact same standard he expects of himself. Think of that.
Sure
Just think on that. Anyway, I don't want to go into the subject, but so you mentioned the video. Yeah, I thought the last video was really good. It was almost hard to watch because the hypocrisy is so strong, and then you go on to the young turds, and then there's a 2-to-1 positive thumbs up for them. It should be overwhelmingly unpositive, but it just goes to show that there's a lot of self-loathing, unthinking people out there. It's like Serge Tankin said in The Unthinking Majority. They don't need democracy. They need insecure little control hypocrisies where there's this whole fifis is priority one, and if it's uncomfortable to demonstrate the fact that one culture has morally inferior values to another, then you can't demonstrate that because then you're being insensitive vis-a-vis racist or whatever other labelist shutdown language they need to use. And quite frankly, Angry, I don't disrespect you, bro, but you're just darn wrong. And not just like my opinion wrong, empirically wrong, okay? Empirically wrong.
That's like anymore you can't say nothing against, you can't say anything against Islam because you're racist. Like, it's only one race that is. Give me a break. I guess I must be racist against. I don't like the Catholics, so I must be racist against Italians.
Yep, that's right.
I'm gonna turn that heater on. I'm fucking freezing.
It's pretty warm here.
55 outside. I hate it.
So what was the conspiracy theory we were pulling apart?
The one that I was making fun of a little bit ago was the Oregon shootings were faked.
Oh my fuck.
According to Pillbox.
Pillbox is one of these, I think the nicest way of saying it is gun enthusiasts. It doesn't really matter what happened. The narrative needs to be dismissed in order for there to be an omission of responsibility between the gun ownership and gun owners. He's an apologist for gun ownership, which isn't always a bad thing. But when you're prepared to compromise truth, demonstrable truth for your narrative, then I think you probably find you're in that bullshit category. And knowing what I do of that guy, don't want to speak too much ill of him when he's not present. I'd rather say it to his face, but I think he's a
Go ahead.
disreputable
Feel free to do so. I don't give a shit.
I think he's a disreputable character, and I think he quite possibly could be a little bit of a sociopath.
Yeah. You could make fun of him all you want. I don't care. I won't hold it against you.
Oh no, I'd rather do it to his face. I got this kind of rule where I don't speak harmful or harsh of the person when they're not present, especially in other company that know the person. You know, that's, I don't know, it's kind of like a Kiwi culture thing. It's like, nah, mate, you fucking say that shit to my face, bro. You know, that sort of thing. And like, you have words, you have words.
I'd say shit like that to his face, but the pussy blocked me. So.
Who's that?
No.
Who?
Pillboxes. Pillboxes.
No, not pillbox. No,
you know, yeah, that's right. Now, I think he might be a little bit like sort of a grandma's boy, sort of staying with the folks, not quite all there, gets on the internet, invents the fact, you know, and then probably goes jacks it to, I don't know, goats and dudes or whatever. I honestly don't know, but I mean, he does strike me as the type who might be actually quite severely emotionally stunted, because a lot of these guys who can find themselves to the Kent Hovind view, they're already from a position of being outsiders. And once upon a time, theirs was the, you know, commonly held view, and they hate the fact that this view, which has got all this, you know, evidence, which they deny, they have to attack the evidence at an empirical basis. The fact that they've got such a solid body against their position actually entices them to be, you know, double down in their conduct and their behavior. And of course, the internet, everyone's bolder on the internet than they are in real life. A lot of these guys, little, you know, pencil dicks. And so what you do is you get a manifestation of this lonely, socially inept person who vents at you on the internet. And I think Pillbox and Nephilim Free, who's like a, you know, 30-year plus version of the same thing, are prime examples of that. They are just sad, sorry individuals. The only reason we know of them is because they discovered how to upload videos.
The reptilians taught them how to upload videos.
I thought they were Illuminati, or are they all in together now?
Well, yeah, it could be the Illuminati. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, that's what you were saying was an Illuminati. That's what the total was. That's why I clicked on. Yeah.
Same,
So it's Illuminati, eh?
Same.
Yeah, same thing. Same shit. Same conspiracy shit.
Same facetious, different name.
And see, the fundies are real stoked that we found some briny water on the Mars, in the craters.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
They're fucking.
Yeah, they lost their collective shit over that, huh?
I'm curious what they'll say when one of these days we get a hold of a
micro.
That or perhaps if we go to Europa or
Here's my prediction
find
for
a
that
fucking fish, yeah.
and
I'm an avid amateur cosmologist. I spend more time than I really should reading and researching cosmology, to the point at which it's almost not comfortable for a normal person to have a conversation with me, because I'm all fucking blah 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 like I do on the hemp rant. But I can give you guys, this is my reasonably educated guesstimate on where you'll find life within our system. Number one, Europa. You're going to find ceropod and cytoplankton, extremophiles around the Geyser vents on the base, except you're going to find them extremely large in size to compensate for the lesser gravity. They're going to have a large body mass to sustain their body temperature too. And on Mars, in the area they now call the habitable zone, which is a region, three-part region around the equator, during the summertime, they've discovered methane plumes that come out of the surface of the ground, out of the caverns, and up into the upper atmosphere. Now, there's only two things in this universe that produces methane as far as we know. One is serpentine, and the other is biological breakdown. So we've got one scenario where we've got lime rock next to water, so there has to be water for that serpentine to produce the methane, or we've got organic breakdowns. And one of the best things for producing organic breakdown as a living thing is fungi. So I assume that under the cavernous surface of Mars, you will find caverns of mega fungi going through reproductive and decaying states, which is why come the summer, all the old bodies start to heat up and they start to vent, and that's why you get, like, you can research this, you get these massive big methane plumes coming out in these three spots along the equator on Mars during the summer season, during its warmest time. Now, That's fucking amazing. Now, there is other places which are a bit more ant. Titan's on the list. Triton's on the list. Why Triton? Because it's got a nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere. It might be thin, but it's nitrogen-oxygen. That's pretty fucking trippy. And then there's Enceladus, which is a tiny ice moon the size of a large city, cubed, going around Saturn, and it's pure water ice. It's probably the nicest drinking water in the solar system besides here. Not briny like Europa, not almost battery acid like Ganymede. It's the real feckin' deal. It's water that's getting pressurized by the near proximity to the larger planet and getting pushed around in a ring, and it's got literally volcanic cryovolcanism, like steaming water shooting out the back, and around the base of those streams the temperature on the surface of Enceladus is a balmy 25 degrees Celsius.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
On the methane, I was not on Mars after I had my chili, the beans.
Are you sure, Paul?
Yes.
The irony is that we as humans have got real good at producing hydrocarbons and pushing them up into our atmosphere. The irony is to terraform Mars, that's actually what we're going to have to do.
Yeah.
I predicted this years ago. It would be great if we actually financed a bill to move all super large industry to a industrial complex on Mars and create an environmental hazard which would actually tilt the CO2 towards an H2O, O3 orientated environment. We're already working towards it. I'll link you guys through this clip. Basically, what we're doing is these folks in California are using extraction fans. Basically, a small line of extraction fans with with an electronic filter, and what it does is it sucks carbon out of the atmosphere, turns it into little burnable rods, and then uses it as a solid fuel. So we're actually sucking carbon out of the air and turning it back into a solid fuel. Because you know how much humans like burning shit. Well, guess what? We get to burn it again. Yay! And then we suck it back out of the atmosphere and turn it back into solid fuel. And it's almost at the cost-effective stage. Now, what we're doing there on Mars is the complete opposite. We're taking out our carbon dioxide production and we're pushing it up into the atmosphere, deliberately pushing it up into the higher stratosphere so that the ionosphere starts to gain a bit of solidity and starts getting a little bit more charge and is better at reflecting cosmic rays. Because currently, even if you could stand on the surface of Mars, you'd be sick with radiation poisoning within a day because of the level of gammas and cosmic rays you'd be getting because of its shitty atmosphere.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do there is do what we do best. Fucking pollute.
I thought
Pollute.
the magnetic field,
No.
not the atmosphere.
Mars has a very.
I'm talking about on Earth. I'm talking about on Earth.
Yeah,
Oh,
our
yeah,
magnetosphere,
not the
our
atmosphere.
magnetosphere is one of the best in the system.
Terraform Mars. I was watching a video last night from Bill Maher, and he said that well, he had Neil deGrasse Tyson on there with Richard Dawkins, and they were talking about things, you know, and
You wouldn't let him speak.
Neil deGrasse Tyson was on there talking about how, you know, Stephen Hawking wants us to be a multi-planet species, you know, to where we wouldn't be able to go extinct, right? You know.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked, and Neil deGrasse Tyson has a rebuttal to that, and it goes like this: if we have the power to turn other planets into Earth, why can't we just turn Earth back into Earth?
Well, that's not the whole idea of going to the other ones anyway.
Yeah, that's in case a huge meteor that we can't stop hits the Earth, and you know, ELE. I mean, extinction level event. There's no stopping it. If we were on another planet as well, after everything settled down, we come
That's
back.
true, Angry. But any meteorological activity big enough to ELE us would be slow enough and big enough for us to see it in enough time. The only thing that we would never see is like if a pulsar. If a star suddenly went, like right now when black holed itself and pulsared right before it did, the pulsar, which we believe has hit Jupiter in the past, would pass through before any of us even knew about it. It would be the easiest way to die. Our entire solar system would be ash before we knew it.
Yeah.
Right.
Within a blink of an eye.
But what I'm saying is, though, if we were on Mars as well, though, we wouldn't have to. It wouldn't be a mad scramble. You know, if we found out today that something like September 23rd really was gonna fucking happen, they're not playing. What would we do? We'd hope to build some bullshit that we could launch into space, at least so a few people could ride out the 30 years until it's inhabitable again, or get everyone else underground. But if we had a foothold on Mars when we found out we had 10 years, we could evacuate a lot of people to Mars.
Well, here's
But
the
I'm
most
not saying
likely
it's feasible,
scenario.
and I'm not, I'm just saying that's
Yeah.
the logic in it.
Here's the most likely scenario. Our sun has solar coronal ejectors. After a coronal ejector, old Sol tends to timmer down for a while. And we've got a few periods where the heliosphere, the outer external area where the sun keeps the cosmic rays at bay, which is a few 100,000 kilometers outside of Pluto, Charon, and the TNOs, every now and then, the old Sol, she gets a bit weak in putting out the heliosphere, and the heliosphere drops right back, and sometimes all the way to like only Venus and Mercury being covered by it at its worst, at its weakest. Now, if that's to happen for a suspended period of time, what happens, and it's happened a few times in the Earth's history, is Earth gets bombarded with cosmic rays, and the surface of that world becomes a death zone, a white-hot death zone, a place where life can't stand for long. And any life that does is living in a constant state of radiation sickness. That's a reality. That is a sincere reality. It could happen again. We're actually technologically advanced enough to go subterranean. We wouldn't like it. We'd lose a lot of species because of the position we're in at the moment. We haven't got a... there's no Ark restoration project internationally, any other more than just seeds in Sweden or something like that. But, yes, Paul.
Can-Am has an arc.
Oh, shit, son. Damn.
Sorry.
Isn't it like a 1/3 scale arc?
No, I thought it was supposed to be full-scale bullshit.
No, they scaled it down because they actually, even before their technology, they still couldn't build the fucking thing. And then they turned half it into a fucking restaurant on the roof. Hey, it's a restaurant now.
Yeah, it's a restaurant with a little walkthrough thing below. Maybe you walk through the arc to get to the restaurant.
Is it complete? I didn't know it was complete. I thought they were still working on it.
No, they're still working on it. I'm saying, but that's what plans are for. It's probably spirals up like a parking lot, and then the top is...
Oh, please, that's more I need to know about. It's bullshit.
Oh, my fuck.
Yeah,
Sorry, but...
I won't give them $20 to check it out. There's no fucking way.
Yeah, my curiosity is not worth giving them at the time of day. I mean, I've seen enough with every inbreed cousin fucker that's dragged their microphone, their camera, and their kids through there. I've seen enough, thank you. I've seen enough.
Yeah.
God's word, man's word. How do you know? How do you know the divine spark? Hey, seriously, guys.
That went through laughing at it.
How the fuck do they know that the divine spark that they proposed started the universe didn't actually set the laws of cosmology in place for us to learn, and actually is probably quite miffed with just taking upon ourselves to take our own books of fiction as his word's truth, or its word's truth? How condescendingly arrogant are these fucking people? They assume that their work of fiction, their particular own favorite work of fiction, is the unwritten truth of the cosmos. It blows my fucking mind.
It blows my mind, truth.
No. Atheists are the ones that are self-centered.
Yeah.
We don't have no deity in our...
Exactly. I mean, we're so arrogant, Paul, that we actually don't think that this universe was made with us in mind. How arrogant of us. How arrogant of us to think that the globe that we spin on is not the heliocentric center of the entire of this thing called creation. And this thing called creation was formed by a thing who just happens to be a big us.
Otherwise it wouldn't be so perfect for us to live on some of it.
Yeah,
some of it.
Some of it.
Some of the time.
Some of the time, yes.
That whole fine-tuning argument is horseshit.
Oh, before people call it plagiarism, fucking...
Why would
Dark Matter 2525 video I got that from. Just I don't want people huge.
Again, why would a all-powerful God have to fine-tune anything? What does he do? Fine-tune heaven?
Right.
You can never nail him down in heaven.
Of all the omni claims, I think the least maintainable is omnibenevolence. I'll give you a two-prong answer, and actually Dark Matter actually did a video on one of them. So the first prong is the problem of lust. Omnibenevolence. Benevolence means that he's incapable of sin, and lust is considered in his conduct in his book of the book of his word as an act of sin. But he's also omnipresent and omniscient, which means he has knowledge and he was there. So does he know lust? Can he experience it? Knowing that he loses the tag of omnibenevolence if he does. And worse still, if he says he doesn't, he's not omniscient because he doesn't know all things. So those two omnis automatically polarize each other out.
Yeah. Either that or he's humping some planet somewhere.
Oh, that explains Mary.
I mean, the most grandest conspiracy theory, and like I tell you what, I feel sorry for NASA YouTube channel. They had almost 900 crazy creationist trolls. Damn you for worshipping Baphomet, you Illuminati, Satan, Ra. You know, your water is a lie. You've been lying for 90 years. NASA equals Illuminati and all this. I mean, and those were getting the big thumbs up. I couldn't fucking believe it. So NASA actually ended up disabling the comments on some of the videos when they had the press conference on the water on Mars. And to be perfectly honest, I was entirely underwhelmed. Nothing new. They're like releasing this to the public like it's new news. The photos they're showing are from the rover in 2006. I'm sorry. I'm not that impressed. I'm like, well, no fucking shit, Sherlock. They're like, well, we just had to be sure. I says, this is the problem. They got no support from the public at large. The public is so grossly misinformed and frappulent in their ignorance that they're terrified of coming out and going, fuck you, we found water. Look at this shit. It's as salty as fuck. Bro, you wouldn't want to touch this shit. You could fucking smoke your fish in this shit. It's so fucking smoky. That's the truth of the matter. We've known for about 6 years now. It's not fucking new. There's nothing new about this.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And it's not fucking special. It's just
one turns into water. We know that for a fact. It shouldn't be
not
that much
fucking-
of a shock.
Exactly. Humans, man. Who would want to be one?
That's why I'd rather go to what's the moon? Europa? One that's
Europa.
blatantly an ocean, a molten core, you know,
Yep.
and then water and then ice.
Well, see, the beautiful thing about the Jovian system is that you got Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. And Callisto is basically an ice rocky ball. There ain't much to see there. It's heavily cratered, and it's good because it's keeping all the meteorites away from its sisters. But you ever look, not just at Europa, but Ganymede. Ganymede also has a salty sea ocean. It also has tectonic activity. And the beautiful thing is Ganymede's a bit of a special case. Well, less of a special case. Europa is tidally warmed. Europa is as warm and squishy as it is, not just because of its volcanic activity, but
from
proximity
the
with.
forces
That's
from
right.
Jupiter.
That's right, bro. That's right. But Ganymede, not so much. Ganymede's cooking on its own, which is fascinating. And it's as fascinating as the fact that we found bitumen on the surface of Charon next to Pluto. It's like, how the fuck did anything that warm and sticky get on the surface of anything that cold? And it has to have come out. And the only way it comes out in this universe is volcanism, bubbling up from the bottom.
Well, the thing is, too, if they can get to those moons, they'll probably find traces of life right there because it fractures every so often and shit comes up.
That's
so
right.
they don't have to dig down. There should be shit over the top of the surface.
But they reckon that there could be
Fossils.
heavy alkaline on the surface of Europa. Like Ganymede might even turn out to be more like than Europa. Europa could be incredibly exotic because the sea could be quite battery acidy.
But that's not to say that life won't form there too. It just
Sure, but it'd be very
You could-
unlike. I mean, like it will be less like us. Ganymede might be more like us than Europa life.
life
Europa
somewhere
life.
else will be nothing like us.
Well, the thing is when
don't
you
expect to
start.
see creatures with 4 limbs, a head with 2 eyes, a nose,
Well,
a mouth, and ears.
I was thinking, but less complex. That some of the, like I actually you want to have a look at the possibilities of what other stuff may look like. A better example is the Cambrian period. You look at some of the sea cucumber animals slash vegetable things that slithered and floated and had little boogie eyes through the sea in that early shallow, primordial sea. Those. Most of them got phased out in our environment, but in an environment that accommodates different necessities, you might just find that the common ancestor of all modern life is not some trilobite, but it might be some squishy seafaring thing that actually got wiped out further down the trilobite's line, or it's analogous. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like modern life on Mars might not be invertebrate at all, may not even have anything like it in the fossil record. I mean, for the most part, I'd probably say that Mars is a dead world. I don't think it.
Stop moving it. You're bouncing around too much.
Sorry.
What the fuck is that? That's awesome.
One of many trilobites.
It's the trilobite? That's fucking
Yeah.
cool.
But this area here wasn't cleared out all the way, so the antenna kind of structures wouldn't be destroyed.
Oh, I think
wow.
the left part of the rock there.
Yeah, the left part of the rock to
Oh,
support
I see.
that.
That's its little. That's one of the things that would swim around and grab the little things off the bottom with those. Yeah, okay.
Oh, wow.
I see it now. It's upside down, because that's the bottom, right?
Well, that's the head here.
Yeah, that's the bottom of the animal.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool, Paul. Thank you
That's
for
fucking
showing
badass,
that.
actually.
That is amazing, awesome. What I was saying, Angry, was basically I don't think we're going to find anything pre-vertebrate, any crustaceans or anything of that nature on Mars. I don't think we're going to find anything more analogous than early fungi family.
Right.
I think, in fact, I might even hypothesize that you're going to see a specialization of the fungi family on Mars. Not on Mars, in Mars,
Okay,
subterranean.
so
I really think.
it's gonna be full of Republicans. Okay.
I'm pretty sure you have to have. I don't know. Maybe not. But I'm thinking you have to have a liquid. Decent amount, so life can float around in it for a while. While it's growing.
Well, it did at the beginning.
It did.
The evolution, it had enough water.
No, that's right.
Right, but it's dried up now. And if you
I understand
let life dry out, it dies.
I think, guys, what happened was that early Mars, early Earth, pretty analogous, except smaller scale, less geological activity going on over a longer period. And what happened was life on Mars occurs in the sea exactly the same way it does on Earth, more or less, because that gave a better environment for more fragile early life before it got all extremey and more hardy. Okay, but as the atmosphere disappeared and the water disappeared, it disappeared up into the outer atmosphere and into space, and also back into the ground, and that's where primordial life went to. So any life that survived has specialized in being not getting the sunlight, possibly bioluminescence, probably biophotosynthesis. We're talking subterranean cavernous nonsense, and the amount of methane that's coming out of there suggests that. Although, to your point, Paul, that is a good point. There is serpentine that makes that amount of methane. There is broken down composition of organics. And then there's Republicans.
What is Republicans?
Yes, but what is serpentine? What is that? What is the first thing on that list?
Serpentine, bud. When lime calcium rock is in proximity to water, it simmers and bubbles. Have you ever seen that, bro?
Okay.
Cool. Yep, and that creates methane and a bunch of other greenhousey type, gassy type critters. I actually have to, and so that's the most natural process. That doesn't actually require living critters to break down and make fart gas. That actually is just a elemental process, a chemical process. But yeah, when it comes to dead stuff, say like there was dinosaurs on Mars and they all died and they all fell down into the same region and they fossilized Well, no, they're not even fossilized. There's an area where there's a living species that's sub-sapient, and they've got a place where they go to die, kind of like where rhinoceros or elephants do. They have their set graveyard where they can smell their own, and they go there to lie down, and then they just...
I think that's a myth, but okay.
Well, it's not. Most of those places have been disturbed because poachers get onto it. But once upon a time, it was very true, especially for the African elephant. So what happened is basically, you find them, they're decomposing, and over a period of time, it becomes not just a small area with a small group of ancestors of the same species. You actually have essentially a methane crude oil reservoir. All the methane and the hydrocarbons are simmering off, especially in the summer period, simmering off in large steam clouds, which would be a lot more obvious at night, which is exactly what NASA took a photo of.
Hey,
and in
Truth.
winter, yep.
Paranor 001 in the chat brought up a good thing, brought up an interesting thing. He said that Siberia is having a methane problem right now.
Yeah. They've got these pits falling out, and they've got these pit holes that no one can really fully explain, and out of them's coming shitloads of greenhouse gas.
Oh, okay.
It's fucked up, man.
Where is this?
Siberia.
In Siberia. East Russia.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been reading up on a lot of those pits that they say that are developing and stuff like that.
You haven't heard anything about that till right now.
It's fucked up, man.
Yep.
And they're like, Russia's pit to hell and all this sort of crap on the tabloids, eh?
Oh, these religious idiots. That's the pit to the devil.
I know, but you'll notice that the mainstream, lamestream media likes to suck that teat when it's, going to get a few more sales or a few more views. Like,
Right.
they'll use that same kind of alarmist, retard Christian, cultural language.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Whoa, dude.
Thing's heavy
Hi,
too.
cousins.
Damn.
Look at the Cuzzy Bros.
Thing is heavy.
That was pretty badass, actually.
Fuck yeah.
Too bad we didn't have Pillbox in here. If Pillbox was in here, he would have said that was fake.
Of course it's fake.
You carved that. You carved it and then you painted the parts black.
That's right.
I buried it a few million years ago. After I did all that, I buried that and went back in time in my genie. You guys still haven't probably listened to 65 million years of a creationist. You've got to listen to it. Honestly, it's great. It's well done.
Yeah.
What is it one more time?
65 million years with a creationist. It's excellent.
65 million years with a creationist?
Creationist.
Okay, got it.
Ugh.
I'm gonna go tag it right now.
It's
Is it a YouTube? I
excellent.
imagine, yeah.
16 years with a family of creationists was enough for me, thank you very much.
Oh fuck! I've never lived with creationists. I've lived with one as a roomie, but yeah.
Yeah.
My cousin married a Jehovah's Witness
He
once.
was a Seventh-day Adventist.
Oh no, really,
yeah.
dude?
Yeah, after 2 years, divorce.
Oh, wow.
He learned his lesson.
Damn.
How's
You know
everybody
what?
tonight?
Oh, pretty
Pretty
good.
good. How about yourself, Paranor?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. Sorry, keep going, Truth.
Go ahead, Truth.
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you
what
were
was it?
starting.
Sorry.
Whoa. All right.
Oh, so did I.
65 million years with the creationist, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Fucking
Yes.
immortal.
And it's the Hellenist.
The guy's done several good YouTube videos. Hasn't done much lately.
Who's that, Paul?
Oh, I
name- Philhellenes. Phil Hellenist.
Oh, Filenes. Yeah, Filenes. Yeah,
Filenes.
Is it Ken Howard's brother?
No, Philins is one of Dark Matter's boys.
Also, that's. All right.
Yeah, I actually just watched an interview. The Skeptic Fen Show just interviewed Gard Saad. You chaps are familiar with this man?
Yep, I am.
In the sideboard.
Professor Gard Saad, the Godfather.
Mhm. He seems pretty cool.
No, I haven't
I
seen
have to
him
admit,
either.
the more I hear from the man, the more I like him. And the fact
Mhm.
that he's right just helps.
Okay,
Yeah, it was
who's that
quite funny.
again?
Who?
I'm doing other
Well-
things. Who was that again?
Sorry, he spoke to me.
Professor who?
Saad Gard. Sadgaad. Oh, no, sorry, Gard
I think I
Saad.
saw something on
Oh,
Facebook
did you
about
realize
this.
what I just did? Oh, that's hilarious. I'll chalk that up to being stoned.
The Gadfather.
I said his name around the wrong way. I called him.
Called the Star God.
Well, what he does is he addresses evolutionary psychology and its effect on advertising and marketing and economics, and it's fascinating because like a lot of the far left SJW types might try to say, well, the reason that we use sexism as marketing is because we're all socially engineered to it. Which to a certain extent is true. Unfortunately, they completely deny the biological fact and undertaking behind it, which is that we are also biological vestige organisms, and that there is a lot of brain chemistry and neurology that determines these kind of things. And if you ignore that, then you kind of destroy your own argument. What with the
There's
lack
a
of
channel.
empiricism.
Yeah.
Sorry for the interruption. Also, Gary Edwards actually put up something earlier. If you guys don't know who Gary Edwards is, you need to find him and subscribe. He's very good and British. But he put up a article earlier. Oh, I shared it. I should look on my page. That talks about the separate pieces of our brain and their evolutionary lineage.
Yeah.
And I'll put link going inside now. I can't share it on the inside, unfortunately. Here, I'll put it in the. Oh no, I can't do that. Okay. But it talks about all of our senses, their lineage, and how our overall consciousness is affected by, and moved around and influenced. It brings even more credibility to what Francis Crick was starting to work on just before his death. Crick being one of the discoverers of DNA, is the network theory of mind, where all the pieces just work together, and because they're kind of communicating with each other, it creates a constant loop. And basically our consciousness is a emergent property of all these separate pieces coming together and working hand in hand, which I subscribe to, actually.
Well, I would not only say I subscribe to that. I think the last 60,000 plus years of human anthropology would actually attest to that.
Well, yeah, I mean, our history books actually would kind of line up with it.
Yeah. Well, even prehistory. I mean, I had this argument with we had Sam here the other day. He was actually a biology student. He's actually a major, and he's one of the camp. Yeah, he is, and he was.
Yeah,
he's
he
actually
works in bioinformatics. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a evolutionary evolutionary psychology, and I was like, I think evolutionary psychology is the only kind of psychology I put any credence in anymore, quite frankly. So I couldn't have disagreed with him more. But having not have a biology background with him, I actually didn't have much, All I know is that if you go Google search, the counter argument to evolutionary psychology versus citation referenced papers for, references for win by a large majority. So I'm guessing the scientific consensus is that, despite him saying so, evolutionary psychology is not on the way out, and that this quote-unquote neo-Darwinian thinking is not being disregarded by intellectual or academics. I can imagine it being disregarded by social Marxist SJW types, but people who are actually considered rationalists, I don't think so. I make the distinction between,
No, you make a distinction.
No, sure, I'll shut up.
No, I thought you were making a pause. Sorry, I tend to jump sometimes. So
no, dude, go ahead. Quick before you lose.
No, the one thing that psychology is really showing us, especially with neuroscience, is that we, how much still animal we are, and we have gotten away from that fact, and our psychology is being shown that we are influenced by animal instincts. We see the reflection, or we find the reflection in most creatures out there. I mean, even octopus play, and they have a totally different neural setup, right? Because they don't have a centralized brain. It's fucking fascinating. But anyway, well, it makes the computer programmers scratch their head, because they're working on the typical brain structure for neural networks, right? Not something like typically like a cephalopod. Am I right on that?
Yeah, that's correct. I would just say cephropod.
Okay. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly or not.
I say it like a dumbass colloquial.
Oh, okay. But yeah, we can't get away from it. We have to look into that aspect more. Look at us as animal, not as a herd. Sorry, not a herd, but a fenced-off cow type animal. Right, or even the wolf. We're not that. We are human beings.
Yeah.
But we are still animal as well, just with a very self-awareness brain. But the thing is, dolphins could probably have that too. They seem to. They recognize us and they interact with us in a very exchanging way.
I've actually had some experience encounters with dolphins fishing, and that sometimes they come up and friendly, and other times they'll come up and they'll wait for you to come over, and then they'll flick their tail and catch you right in the face with the biff's ass, and then they'll go around the other side of the boat and go to their friends. It's like, he just punked me, and then they'll ask their friend about it.
Exactly.
Motherfuckers.
Well, I mean, they've also shown that pets and their human companions do emote to each other and recognize the same emotions. It's not necessarily the word, but the association of the sound. But it's like with each of us to each other, we get more emotive content when we're looking at each other face to face. That's why text, it's hard to get sarcasm.
Yeah, that's right. No, I totally agree. I mean, as a crazy cat person, I see a facet of crazy little furry personalities all the time.
Oh yes, I concur on demand. So
yeah. And like people go, "Oh no, he's going to make his cat noises." I'm like, boop, 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 boop. And they're like, "Meow, boop, boop," and I respond and shit. It's like,
I wanted
two-way conversation going on here. I'm not crazy.
Yeah. I wanted to drop a link on an example of this. It's called the McGurk effect, or the McGurk effect. And we have to visually see, typically, the way the mouth is formed, just to get a different sound out of the vocalization, or hear the different sound. Otherwise, we hear it as the same. And it's one of those little glitches in our brain, like that allows illusions to happen.
Yep.
But it's part of our language makeup, how we hear, how we understand another person.
That's it.
It's cool. It's fucking cool.
But I mean, this is my biggest problem. I mean, not just the fact that I think they're inherently a fascist organization. Well, not even organization, because there's no organized main goal. This far leftist approach in academia and that. This anti-meritocracy sort of mentality. But it's the fact that they deny biological realities to reach the conclusion that they do, and that they will attack you personally if you not even simply counter them with an argument or an ad hom, but disagree with them. I've had the term "I respectfully disagree" turned into the banner of my racist shit lottery.
Yeah.
I mean, what? I'm sorry. Pass.
I've termed the phrase the age of offense.
Yes. Yes.
I think it's quite fitting.
Very much.
I mean, it's like SJW mentality has infiltrated so many aspects of, especially the online life,
Yes.
because it's instantaneous and everybody's a fucking star in 15
And let's
minutes.
face it, most of the people within that community, including the males, especially the males, it seems, a lot of the women are quite often engendered. Some of them have genuine, good-hearted intentions, but come across as a little bit like advocates for some form of social Marxism, which is what they are. But at the bottom line of it, most of them, like I asked this one lady, so I mean, tell me about yourself, because I was trying to be relatable in that. I said, I mean, what do you cook yourself? What do you cook? I mean, when do you cook? And she was like, I felt as an attack. I was like, no, I'm just curious, because I like to cook something. I explain the meals I like to cook. I like to do a lot of Oriental food. I'm in New Zealand, we get a lot of, I can cook traditional Māori food. I can cook Indo-Chinese food. I did some unique Indo-Chinese wontons and stuff for lunch, Yeah. So, but it came to me that not only did she not know how to cook, she hated the fact that I would even ask her to do that, as if I was assuming it. But it was, when she finally realized, I just wanted to see what she cooked. And came to it, she didn't actually know how to cook. Yeah. She didn't know her way around the kitchen. She actually joked about how her flatmates complain about her not cleaning up after herself. She had no life skills. She was socially inept to boot. Okay? And this, unfortunately, please prove me wrong, but it seems to be a pretty good stereotype assessment of the profile of these folks. They're social inept. They don't cook their own food. They've never done a full day's work in their life. They're cloistered and sheltered within their own echo chambers of thought. And what's more is they're now setting up within the institutions areas where they don't have to be invaded by other people think.
I wouldn't make those sort of generalizations, because you're mixing it, you're injecting something within a person's lifestyle.
Thank goodness.
There's think of the smart stupid person, right? It's a completely compartmentalized mentality, which may not interfere with other aspects.
It's also often a mild form of Asperger's, which is what I apparently have.
Well, it's an ego problem. That's the issue.
Well, I lack ego. In fact, I'm like, I don't know if turned off's the right word or not, but a person who's like, yeah, I am great. I mean, that's the last thing a person has to say to me as their time as my friend. Because after that, I lost all respect for them. And, like, I guess it's the tall poppy syndrome we've got going on here in New Zealand. But, I mean, like, unless a person's acquired merit, I don't like, yeah, man, I'm with you and you'll brag about yourself. Oh, you got a new car too. Oh, your missus, you've told me 3 times in the last sentence. That's really cool for you, bro. I'm done. I'm actually over the empathizing at that point. I almost find it impossible to empathize with that person from that point, because they burnt out my empathy for them with all their braggatry.
Can I give a possible explanation?
Oh, absolutely, dude. I'm all ears.
Emotive arguments are bravado. They're irrelevant to anything of content, right? It's farting in the breeze, and it doesn't interest you. And somebody who just starts with that usually ends with that. Yeah. And it's not I'll suggest it's not any Asperger's.
Okay, well, that's cool.
Because I'm the same way. I'm the same way, but for very different reasons.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah, because, I mean, I was kind of realized myself, I realized, am I paying attention? Because I'm not even paying attention. Do I even respect this person? Come on, William, think about it. Do you actually respect this person? Of course you do. As your friend. Yeah, but he's talking about this repetitive, and it's not even like a person like, I'm just so insolent that I can't take the time out of my own fucking busy little schedule to listen to a person tell me about their day. I think that is an intrinsically rude thing, and I think it's something we do too much in the modern day. Taking time out of your day. So how was your day, mate? I mean, it's amazing. Some people, that might be the highlight of their fucking day. Hey, mate, see it, old fella. Oh, how you doing, mate? How you doing today? Oh, you been at the RSA? How you doing, mate? Yeah.
Well, why do you think I asked how everybody was pretty soon after I entered?
Well, that's right.
Okay.
But at the same time, when they take that as the opportunity to soapbox and talk about just how awesome they are. Ugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm awesome.
I'm awesome.
Yeah. As I said to people when I was at the last place I was, I'll put it that way. I used to be at a theater, but anyway, I said, don't give me praise. Tell me if I did a good job or not.
Yeah.
Right. It's the, did everything work? Then we did our job right. That's all I care about. I don't want, you did great. It's like, no, I don't care for that.
And that brings me
If
to
I did my job well, then I know
Exactly.
I did a great job because nothing fucked up.
And this is the bottom line: is when merit is not the criteria by which you're determining the role, we have a problem.
Yeah.
We have a base problem. Understandingly, there's social programs like what do they call it? What's the act in America to allow people of minority groups to get precedence? What's that called again?
Sorry,
Affirmative action. Affirmative action.
Yeah.
So affirmative action is a social program in order to compensate for historical transgressions, and that is about as far as my understanding, as my consideration for the fact goes. But when you actually have people within going into academia, as these 18 to 25s are now, they're coming out. They've been in an environment where instead of having everything about them tested, as the academic environment traditionally did, coming out broken and reformed with this amazing brain full of knowledge that they had no idea was at their fingertips. When they first week, the yeah, I'm going to pass with an A+, and right, and you walk out there with a C and you're stoked that you passed it all, That's the reality of the academic experience. Instead of that, they've had their fifis not trod on the whole time. They've been in their safe space, and any speaker or any lecturer that they didn't like the presence of, they didn't like the way he stared at them when he was explaining the question. They haven't experienced that. They haven't had the uncomfortable, everyone's too drunk, this party's getting out of control, and learning the social skills that comes with handling your shit when you're in that environment. They've never experienced that, and now they're in a job where the pressure is 10 times as much because not everyone's accommodating to you. You're not paying to be there; they're paying you to be there. And you've got to do what the role requires.
Yeah, they don't understand the professional mindset.
And they don't understand the professional mindset.
Ego at the door. Well, it comes down to that. But it's not affirmative action, which you're thinking of. It's the whole "no child left behind" thing.
Right. Okay. My bad.
No, that's all right. But some people do feel entitled by affirmative action, just like some people feel entitled about having their guns. It's right. The individual basis and just their own.
It's not a freedom. For me, it's not a freedom individual issue. For me, like New Zealand Māori, which you are like as about as indigenous as people get on Earth, other than Africans. They signed a treaty, a Tiriti of Waitangi, the Treaty of Waitangi, with the European British colonial government. And what we did is actually it's a compact between two peoples to sustain the welfare of the people, sustain the guardianship, the kawa tangata of the land, and this is a compact between Queen Victoria and the Māori people, and now it's a compact between the Commonwealth of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth state of New Zealand, the country of New Zealand, and the New Zealand Māori people. So when New Zealand Māori people are demographically slipping behind, and they are crime-wise and that, and there's a bit of a sort of a sad slide statistic there. We set up government social programs to compensate that and alleviate that. People say, oh, it's brown money, it's brown nosing and that, but it's actually not only is it addressing a social deprivation need that it needs to be addressed, we actually are honor-bound by treaty to do so.
Yeah,
so
because you fucking Kiwis did it right.
Yeah, we did. That's why, we have tensions. It's not all fucking bells and whistles over here, but we don't have the tension, the undercurrent that America does, or even North America to that extent. We just don't.
There's much more reason, but you're also not as. I mean, yes, it's a small landmass technically, but I don't think you're yet rats in cages, pressed up against each other. So that is a big factor in it. There's still a lot of nature because you guys, they demand nature be taken care of.
Well, I'll tell you what, was a beautiful discovery. Big polluter, or BP, just got assholed by whale, by the Sea Shepherds and by Greenpeace out of fucking the Antarctic. They've decided to cancel, even though our Prime Minister gave them the green light. We still assholed those motherfuckers.
Mm.
Sorry, guys, gas is going to be 0.01 cents more expensive for the next few weeks.
Mm. Yeah.
All right, guys,
Oh.
I'm back. Sorry for the absence. I had to go take a bathroom break really quick.
Oh, hey, Mother Nature
Damn it,
doesn't
nature.
call, she screams. So, no, I was just hoping that, everybody wasn't getting bored of the conversation.
Yeah.
If I have something to say, I'll say it.
Go. Say it loud and say it proud. Sorry, I tease.
It's no different than years ago when I was young, and my uncles would come over to the house, and my father and all them would go and drag Jew, and I'll sit there and listen. Can't learn anything if I keep flapping my mouth.
That's the way, Paul. Yep.
Yeah. So what's going on, Raven?
I've been working on the house all day. We're decorating for Halloween.
Oh.
Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
Good old Hallows Eve.
No,
Were you-
it was funny you mentioned when you were talking about college students. And I read a study day before yesterday, and they were talking about how a lot of the professors they're having a hard time teaching a lot of the curriculum because of the students themselves.
Yep.
They're having a problem with self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they have too much of it, but it's they're so worried about if they get, like, even if they get a B or a C, it's just like the end of the world for them.
Yeah.
And they're on their goddamn phones to mama and papa every damn minute.
Yeah. And
That's
it's
what
really,
No Child Left Behind causes. Sorry.
Yeah. Exactly, that everybody gets a gold star just for trying, just for showing up,
You have to be Scottish. You have to go, you're rubbish. Somebody said it earlier, to tear you down to, Truth said, tear you down to rebuild that beautiful mind.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you what, I walked in there sort of a little bit nervous but falsely confident, and I'll just stride in here. I'm just such a genius. I'll just, I think some of the things I dislike in other people, some of the attributes I used to share myself, to be perfectly honest. But I did 9 years of academia, and I tell you what, if my tutors had been tippy-toeing around my fifis, I would have learnt diddly squat from those people. Diddly.
Yep.
They had to hone me. They had to break me. Yeah, you know what, to be honest with you, sometimes, like when I was doing some level 7, I don't know what that is in America or North America, taxation papers I did a postgraduate in business studies. There was times where I was just kneeling on the ground going, why the fuck am I doing this? Bawling my eyes out. Just like, what the fuck am I doing? This is driving me nuts. Like literally pulling my hair out going, what the fuck am I doing? And I tell you what, I will not take that. If I could, I wouldn't take that moment back.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. And that is the worst thing you can experience while studying. That is the worst thing. And I agree with you 100%, Raven. It's so sad because they got to the point now where there's this meritocracy mentality, non-merit mentality. It's like, we don't assess you on your merit. We assess you on a social program of who you are and what identity politics demographic you identify with. And that is just madness. Absolute madness.
And I think it is reflected in the current U.S. political process.
Yeah.
Well, and
That's
there's all these labels that are just destroying everything. I mean, if you believe in this, then you're automatically in this category. And it's just like, okay, I'm an avid gun owner, but I'll be the first one to tell you that not everybody needs a firearm. Not everybody is responsible enough. Not everybody is, they don't respect it. You have to respect firearms for one thing.
They fetishize, not respect.
And you know, it's like you're automatically like, oh, you're a gun nut, you're a gun nut, you're this, you're that. You know, no, I'm not. I'm a responsible gun owner. You know, and I'll put it to people like this: if you can sleep at night knowing that if someone breaks into your house and you have no way to defend yourself, that's fine. But as far as my home is considered, you know, if you break into my house at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to shoot you. Period. End of story. You know.
Yep.
You know what? I don't have a gun, but I got a broomstick and a knife in the kitchen.
That's
And
all
also,
well and fine, but don't go to any fucking movie theaters and pull it out to be a hero, okay?
oh no. If I'm going to pull it out to be a hero, it'll be my penis. But anyway, as a Canadian, I'll say that we have per capita.
There's the perfect segue right there.
About
Stop
this,
applying my
exactly.
See, hey,
Uh,
there are no guns in our house, and I pay
there-
the fucker that comes through our door.
Yeah. Well, exactly. But as a Canadian, I'll state that we have per capita basically about as many guns as you guys have. But we don't get any more of the mass shootings. The last one happened was in early 80s, I think. Feminist whole school classroom got shot up. But we have responsible gun ownership. We don't fetishize them, which enables us to control
Right.
who gets one, not from, oh, you deserve it, you have the right to, because we don't have a Second Amendment, and we still have as many guns. It turns into that saying, do you have the responsibility and the respect for what you are about to take on, the tool that you're about to take on? In a way, it's
agree.
just like driving a fucking car, which is a hell of a lot more damaging to a mass amount of people than guns, because
Exactly.
people can duck
People
from
say-
bullets. They can't duck
That's
from a
right.
fucking car.
People say,
Or
well,
an
it's my
airplane.
personal freedom issue, but it's not simply a personal freedom issue when this thing has the potential to infringe on other people's, not just personal freedom, but
Exactly.
well-being. But I'm just curious,
Exactly.
Ravens, what do you think, Ravens, of background checks as far as psych assessments and that, especially for, say, fully automatics?
Oh, definitely. You should have a background check. I have no problem with background checks.
Huge.
You know, and see, here's the deal too. We have too much of we have this society idea that it's the government or it's the police's responsibility to keep you safe, and that is never going to happen, number one. I don't care how many laws you pass, how much law enforcement you have. This is not a perfect world. There's
No.
always going to be violent people. There's always going to be crazy people. There's always going to be some kind of element to life that you are not going to be safe.
Well,
The
the thing is,
idea-
police take
I
time
agree
to
with
get
you.
there.
I
But
agree
when
with
you're
you. but here's
playing
my
Russian
problem.
roulette,
I
it's
lament-
only a good idea to take bullets out of the gun.
Yeah, I lament the fact that you guys, Raven, have to live in this environment where you both parties mutually feel they need to carry the rifle. I want you guys to be able to express your right to carry it. I acknowledge the Second Amendment that says you have the right to bear arms, and I fully condone that. I'm a amateur constitutionalist. I'm all about that shit, all for it. Don't get me wrong. But what I worry about is the environment, the atmosphere that perpetuates the need for it. We don't have that. I don't have that fear of my neighbor that you guys must have to sustain that culture. And clearly your friends to the north, our friend Paranor and our Canuck friends, they don't share that perpetual fear environment either, because they've got the same amount of guns as you. In fact, it's easier to get a fully automatic weapon in Ontario than it is in most southern cities. That's
Canada's
beside
starting
the
to
point.
become a major exporter of weapons too.
That's
which
right.
is
You
not
guys
like- I don't.
export ammo, don't you?
Yeah, we're doing more thanks to our conservative government. Where Harper is basically GOP North, and it's not pretty.
But I mean, North America doesn't have the same atmosphere, undercurrent of fear. Like, seeing that young black guy across the street, he kind of looked a little bit shifty. Is he strapped, or is he just a college student on his way to school? The cop didn't decide to make that decision before he pulled and said, "Bang, freeze," and then shot the corpse 3 times, and then cuffed the corpse, like what happened in Texas 3 weeks ago. Or that young white guy, this fat, chubby white guy, who the cop shot and then cuffed his corpse, like 4 weeks ago. See, this is an environment of fear that creates this situation. That's why it's happening there, like no place else.
And I'll harken back to the conversation about where we forgot that we're animals and still very much run by animal instincts.
We
Grand
can't
Central,
escape our
Grand Central
vestiges, can we,
Station.
Paranormal?
No, we
But
can't,
see-
and we
them.
shouldn't. We shouldn't because they are they're part of what makes us. We just need to understand it to be able to better ourselves in a way.
But see, in my personal opinion, fear is not a factor with me. I did not go and get my open carry permit out of fear. See, I look at it totally different. I have a confidence that if someone is trying to hurt or murder me, that I can defend myself.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with fear. It has everything to do with being able to defend myself.
But you, like you said, you are the responsible gun owner, and that is a responsible gun owner. It's like professionalism in work. It's you respect it, you understand it. It's your mindset is not what's on the media.
And then
And
there's
that's the issue.
also the aspect of it's as good as money. Okay, if I've got firearms. If I need some money, I've always got that to fall back on. I can turn around and sell it, and be able to pay an unexpected bill that comes. It's a monetary thing. If the world fell apart tomorrow, I've got some collateral to where I don't need a money system. I've got things to sell.
Yep.
Because they're always going to be worth money. They don't go down in value. There's always a demand for it. There's always a need
Situation,
for
though,
it
too, if you're
somewhere.
out of ammo, it's a paperweight.
We're not talking about sex, right?
Not yet.
Not yet, but
Not yet.
give her give her another 30 minutes.
Okay.
Well, I could always whip it out early.
More than I need to see.
You better
But
be
see,
careful. You better be careful, Paranor, because I must warn you, Paranor, that Raven likes them big.
I'm more than average, I'll say that.
But I don't know. I think that, this is going to sound so terrible for me to say this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. On the gun issue, on the crime issue, whatever, there's so many aspects that you can bring this up, but in my personal opinion, I think it's not so much that the world has changed, it's that there's just too many people in this world. There just is. I mean, there's so many problems and there's no way to solve it.
In a way, I agree with you.
Man.
I mean, am I sitting here saying, oh yeah, I think that they ought to control the population like now and wipe like 3/4 of it? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that when you have too many people and too many problems, there's just, no matter what you do, no matter how you look at it, there's too many people in this world.
Well, I mean,
Raven-
you
Raven
can't
did.
really let the population outgrow the resources.
Well, there's
Exactly.
more than
That would
that,
be
too.
stupid.
There's more than that, too. Raven, did you catch earlier before you entered, I think I was telling truth about New Zealand. I said they're not packed rats yet, right? And that was hearkening to what you were saying. Is a lot of areas, especially in things like New York and everything, it's packed rat syndrome, and our animal is getting touchy.
Well, there's this elitist attitude. You can find some of the most low-income people in the world, and they still have elitist attitude. Well, you owe me this because I have children. You owe me this because I don't have this. They're not willing to get up and go and work for it themselves. They expect everybody to give it to them. Well, you owe it to me because I'm here, and that's not right. And you can't expect it's just like I don't know how many hangouts I go to where I'll watch the video and someone will have the attitude that it's just kind of like you owe it to me because I'm breathing. You have so much and I have so little, you owe it to me, and I don't subscribe to that. I don't. I think that's
uncommon, to be honest. Well, actually, studies do show it's uncommon because all the restrictions that most primarily Republican governors try to put on people on social assistance, welfare, whatever you want to put it, shows that most of them do try to get off because people do want to work. They want to do something, be productive, make themselves feel good. There's very few, but the whole drug thing, they're not selfishly spending it on drugs and that sort of thing.
Right.
It shows that most people don't want just to be a burden or feel that they're entitled.
And what do you do with a woman that has a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old, and her husband just up and disappears, just fucking,
or goes to jail,
or goes to prison for something stupid. Now she's left raising these 3 kids. How the fuck is she supposed to have a full-time job and take care of a 2, 4, and 6-year-old? It's fucking possible. It would cost as much in daycare as you make it your job.
I'm not sitting here saying that, no one should be on public assistance, but I think that there should be a limit. And there are whole generations of people raised on public assistance.
Oh, agreed, but there's a lot of factors to that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and there's a lot of lack of support from, I have to say government, because the only way to do it, but not just educating, getting them educated, but getting them to a point of mental health where they feel like they need to do better, learn something.
To manipulate the system to get a couple $100 worth of food every month is a whole hell of a lot better than to manipulate the system to get $1 million a month.
Yeah, and also, Ray, I don't think anybody was saying that's what you were getting at.
But then also you have this problem. You have women that go out and they have 4, 5, 6, 7 kids by 4, 5, 6 different men, and they don't think anything about it. It's no big deal. It's another paycheck to them. And, it's hard for me to feel sorry for you when you don't understand what birth control is about.
Yeah, you're taught that you don't use birth control, you don't get abortions, and what are you supposed to do?
You're taught, and that's the key word. Yeah, taught is the key word, though. Both, not just about the kids, but how to look at yourself, how to treat yourself. Then that's the vicious catch-22 cycle of poverty, is because it becomes the normal.
I thought there's a monster in the room.
Hey guys.
Racist fucker.
What's going on?
PW in the house.
What's going on, PW?
Just come in to spread some hate,
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, Truth, I'd like to say that I will stop calling the racist Roo a racist Roo when he makes a public apology and unblocks me.
No.
Racist bullshit he said.
You want him to apologize to
sounding
you?
bullshit he said. Okay,
Yeah.
so when he fucking...
I've never heard him apologize to anybody.
Well, then I'm going to keep calling him racist Roo because he's a racist guy.
Angry, sometimes you just gotta say "fuck that asshole" and just drop it.
I don't.
I
I
was
have
listening
my
to
own
you guys.
demands, and they will be held.
I was listening to you guys talk about handgun or guns.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody got hurt on.
What's
Yeah,
that?
PW, just concerning you from your own perspective as a former law enforcement personnel.
Yeah,
what do you reckon? Yeah.
Well, there are 2 ways of looking at it, and I've tried to put that in a video, and I don't think I did it well enough. But there's the media way, and then there's the statistics. And I trust the statistics a lot more than I do the media when it comes to how they portray this issue. If I told you that crime is extremely low in America, you wouldn't believe it. But it's actually true.
Yep.
It's just lower in other countries. It's just lower in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very low crime rate when you look at it. When you look at the stats.
And funny enough, it follows the lead.
What's that?
It follows the lead concentration. That's a funny thing.
I'm not following.
Oh, the crime
Petrol
rate.
levels have dropped significantly with the reduction in violent crime.
Okay. everybody was talking.
Multiple talkers.
I don't understand. What?
Okay, when lead was taken out of the gasoline, they followed the concentration in the atmosphere, in the environment, and what they've seen is the crime rate follows the same data analysis as the lead. And it's reminiscent of Rome.
Now that also coincides with, wait a minute, hold on, that also coincides with the fact that Roe versus Wade, when lead was taken out of the gas, those people that would have been born to unwanting parents were never born and didn't grow up to become criminals. There is a correlation between Roe versus Wade and the drop in the 80s of crime.
Correlation and causation.
I know.
You know, I mean, I could correlate probably 1,000 things, but I mean, my point.
Correlating led to it, so.
No, but my point is whatever
correlation
reason
doesn't count.
Well, whatever reason that we can or cannot prove, but whatever reason, it, to me is where I focus on is the amount of crime. You know, when we're talking about 320 million people, okay, and 10,000 murders a year. I mean, that's almost zero. Well, it is actually. You know, statistically, it's nothing. I think what happens is we get into these conversations and politically, our politicians do, and they framework the actual conversation. Whereas I kind of look at it as like, wait a second, you're making issues out of something that statistically more people die in car accidents than they do by violent crime at all, or by guns. Even suicide. Even if you put suicide in there, you wouldn't have as much as, you know, we die more from other causes than that. But I think what happens is we try to compare the U.S. Handgun deaths or gun deaths to other countries, and I don't see the correlate. I don't see how that would work.
Don't have handguns, do they?
What's
not
that?
Not too many countries that people don't have access to handguns.
Yeah, but I mean, I saw one comparison to Norway. Okay, for example, and Norway has what, 5 million people, something like that. I mean, it's just a fairly small population. I think there's more people where I live in my state than there are there, and I'm not sure you can compare a country as diverse as this one with 320 million people. To a country that's more homogenous. I just don't know.
Isn't it like a little sliver on the edge of the Arctic? Yeah,
and the way I'm looking at it is like 10,000 murders a year out of 320 million people. Is that really a high crime rate at all?
How many? One more time?
Well, 10,000 murders a year. And it dropping.
In the United States?
Right. Yeah. That's all there is. But we have 320 million people. Yes. My question is that actually a high crime rate?
I think it is. It's fucking murder. There shouldn't be any fucking murder. There's no reason to take this fucking
sure there is.
I'm not justifying murder.
No, there's a difference between, you know, killing somebody and murder. You can kill somebody that needs to be killed. That's not murder.
Well, homicide, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about murder, intentional.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Illegal,
first degree,
unjustified murder.
Premeditated fucking.
That's 10,000. That's 10,000 a year.
That's a lot, I think.
That's less than. Yeah, that's
doesn't matter.
I'll tell you what it is.
Even a fraction of a percent that it is.
It's zero.
10,000 fucking people got killed for no reason.
You want to hear what it is? It's 0.0003%.
That doesn't matter. It's 10,000 people got killed for no reason, or for in cold blood.
Yeah, but you're gonna have that. You're going to have that, though. That's part of life. I mean, right, wrong. I mean, morally, yes, I see what you're saying. Ethically, yes, you're right. But, we live in a world where puppies die and kitties die and people nut up and kill each other.
So many rat shits per Cocoa Pebble. I mean,
But
Yeah,
how would you
I understand that.
would you really expect out of 320 million people that you wouldn't get that number? I mean, realistically,
No, I mean, I know somebody
like
who looked like the kid from Saved by the Bell, and he shot somebody in the back of the head because he hooked up a sack for someone else, and they said it was short. So he went back and shot dude in the back of the head.
Uh-huh.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I understand that shit happens, and it's the least likely people sometimes that do it.
Yeah.
But I
You
still
wanna know-
don't even think that drug dealer that skipped him on that sack deserved to get shot in the back of the head.
Well, I'm not saying anybody
No,
deserves
that's
to
what I'm
get
saying.
killed, but that's not the point. The point is, of the amount of people, the amount of incidents, the amount of
Mhm.
issues, are you really surprised that there would be 10,000 murders a year out of 320 million people? Remember, we're not talking about just a million. That would still be statistically not a huge amount, but 320 million? That just seems to me that we talk about this in ways that I think are kind of hyperbole. I mean, it's. I don't think we could expect much more than that at this point. How would you stop that little amount? I mean, it is a little amount statistically. You agree with that, right?
Better mental health care.
I can't conceive in killing somebody.
Well, I can't either. But
I
it's,
can't.
I
I mean,
don't
that's
think.
what I'm saying. I think 0.0000001% is too fucking much, to tell you the truth. Me personally.
How would you stop?
I would agree that it's not 1 in 1. It's better than 1 in 10.
It was 1 and 1.
No, my point is that
PW is not justifying it.
I'm not doing
I
that. What
know he's not.
I'm trying to
Alright,
point out
then.
is that the media makes it, for argument purposes, they make it seem like we live in this
Well, how many
huge
deaths are in somewhere like what did you say? Denmark?
Norway.
Oh,
I have no
Norway.
idea.
That's right.
I have no idea. I don't think it's even relevant to compare a country of 5 million people, a country of 320 million, and they're nowhere near as diverse as we are.
You can compare them to like California. You can compare them,
Not really.
No way. I live in Minnesota. We have more people here than they have in Norway.
But it's not just the amount of people, it's also the culture. It's
Well,
the
that's my
culture,
point.
it's the
Culturally homogenous.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of my point, is that we don't. I mean, you can add up these numbers, but they're not big.
Yeah. No.
and I imagine they might have a bigger number per capita.
Well, they have more police officers in Norway than we do usually here. That's one thing. But my point isn't that isn't a bad. I'm not saying it's a good thing. It's a bad thing that people get killed. But for the most part, it's not what the media portrays. They love to portray this as this kind of extremely violent place. And I challenge anybody who lives here. When's the last time you even got into a fist fight?
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's sensationalized to fill the friggin' gaps. Come on, I mean, when Concrete did it, they brought in what was relevant, not what everything happened, right, or what sells tickets, right, and that's the problem in the media of today.
Mhm.
Journalism is unheard of pretty much in the visual media on the airwaves.
Well, I always kind of ask myself when I'm reading a story: is this actually a problem?
Mm.
Is this a real problem? I mean, because I just don't. We can't assume that just because the media writes a story, that it's an actual issue. I mean, I don't necessarily buy that. They like to create issues, but I try to look for the real numbers. I think we're getting hoodwinked more and more by the media, especially in poll numbers, things like that.
Well, do you ever notice how no one really makes that big a deal until a gun is involved? I mean, they want to blame an inanimate object, but then they don't ever want to talk about the issue of This person that did this, before they went out and killed these people, they were posting all kinds of things on the internet. They were going around and threatening people and blah, 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 and nobody said anything.
Who are
Nobody
you
wants
referring
to get
to? Wait, who are you
involved
referring to?
until nobody wants to get involved and wants to address an issue until they go out and do something so heinous as to murder people, whatever. It's like people want to turn a blind eye until it directly affects them.
Yep.
And then they came for the Jews.
Never
Very-
mind.
And then they came for me. Sorry, first they came for the Jews. Yeah.
It's like they don't want to. They want to deny that the snake is there until it bites them. You know. But speaking of numbers, PW, I wanted to run something by you really quick. I saw some numbers yesterday about mass shootings here in America. We've hit almost 300 already this year.
Say that again.
We've hit almost 300 already this year. 294.
In what?
Mass
What do you
shooting.
consider a mass shooting?
Yeah, well, that's the real question, isn't it? 4 people involved in any kind of shooting is a mass shooting. It doesn't matter if they were shooting. No, it doesn't matter if two gang members from one side shot at two gang members at another side. That's considered a mass shooting in America.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, it's kind of like when they talk about gun deaths, they include all the suicides.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't tell you that, but they do.
Yeah, that's fudge fucking stats. Man. Don't mean
Yeah,
shit.
They all are. We don't have mass
Oh,
shootings
but yeah, I
to the
don't.
level that they're trying to talk about.
Well, yeah,
If you got a shoot up, and they don't have to die.
unless it's how fucking insanely criminal black people are. Then the
But
stats.
the whole thing is that they try to consider everything a mass shooting, so that way they can say every day there's a mass shooting,
Right. Yeah.
and it's not true. If there's a drive-by and 2 gang members shoot out the window of a car, and the guys on the sidewalk shoot back, that's a mass shooting in America. Now
See,
I
I
don't
think
consider that.
things
I
like-
don't consider that a mass shooting
No.
by the terms we're talking about. Or is it? I mean, is that what you would consider a mass shooting?
How about?
That's
I think.
that's how they list it.
How many incidents one gunman has killed more than 4 people? And that's what I would
What's
consider
that?
shooting.
Oh yeah, I mean, to me,
One
when I think of
gunman
mass
sprays
shooting,
on a crowd.
I think of like at the schools and that sort of thing.
Yeah, or a
But-
or
But gunfire
a
exchange,
mall or something.
you know, if
I'm
and
not trying to
you
give
don't
you
have
an
to kill
idea.
them. I mean, if someone is wounded,
Right.
they consider the whole thing a mass shooting
Sure.
statistically, and then I just find that kind of misleading in terms of because they throw this around a lot, like we're in a 300, and yeah, if you consider that a mass shooting, yeah, okay, but we don't. When we're talking about mass shooting, we're usually talking about at the schools and that sort of thing. Am I right? Or
Yeah.
is any kind of shooting a mass
They're
shooting?
hyping those too.
Yeah, and I find that I just think that's they don't explain it for one thing, and then everybody kind of gets kind
Really
of caught up in
monetize
it.
the shit out of it.
Can I bring up one thing?
Yeah.
I never years ago. I mean, still going. 5 million kids missing. They don't break it down. They just say,
Oh,
and I'm saying 5 million. I should know somebody. 5 million kids. I should know somebody who knows somebody at least.
hmm
Yeah, that's just a kid who comes late from school a lot of times or whatever. That's considered a missing kid.
right.
They don't break it down and say, well, out of that 5 million, 4.5 million are kids like that.
Yeah.
And then 400,000 are estranged parents and blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah. And when you get down to what people are thinking,
Mhm.
Kids being dragged off, raped, blah, 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 that number goes way down.
Way down.
But
And that's
that 5 million looks real good.
But that's my problem with how the media portrays things and how they put things out there is it makes it sound like it's a huge problem. And when you look at the actual numbers of things, it isn't true. At least in my opinion, a drive-by shooting between gang members where one guy gets wounded, to me, is not a mass shooting.
Nope.
I mean, unless you guys, view view it differently. I just don't.
No,
When I think of mass shooting, I think of a gunman going in somewhere and
Now-
shooting at a lot of people.
Now, if they did a drive-by at a huge birthday party at a park, I would consider that a mass shooting.
Nah.
It depends. I mean, did they shoot it? Did they hit anybody? I mean, if they hit one guy that they were after and nobody else, I don't know that I would consider that a mass shooting. To me, mass means a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying spraying
So all you
indiscriminately into a crowd.
But for the statistic for them to use the statistic, you only need to wound one guy.
Yeah.
You just have to have 4 people involved.
Mass shooting always isn't indiscriminate shooting.
No,
I mean,
but I
the
think they
reason-
do that with every issue. Is they try to group in, like gun deaths. They try to group in every suicide, every accidental gun killing, every justified one. And they group it all into one. Say this is, all the gun killings. Well, yeah, technically you're right. But that I don't think that they use it for an argument. Like this year, they're pushing the idea that there are more gun deaths than car deaths this year. We're on track that way, but they're including every possible way that you could die.
Just curious,
Yeah.
Bud, what do you think the political ideology is behind the anti-gun, not just anti-gun, but access to, like, this whole ban guns wholesale type mentality? I mean, it seems to be like the Sandy Hook ends up becoming a conspiracy theory simply because a lot of the time people are put on the defensive, having to defend it where really there's no rational defense for it. I mean, what's the counter argument to that lobby? What's their political position? Who are they? Are they leftists? Are they rightists?
For the gun control or the gun?
Yeah, for
Right.
the gun controllers, for the anti-gun folk.
Well, it's all votes. I mean, you know that you can motivate a certain part of your base and get money.
Yeah,
It's all about
okay.
money. I mean, it's not about any.
All
These guys
about
don't
money.
believe any of this stuff. I mean, I come from a family of politicians and extended family. They don't believe any of this stuff. They know what they need to do to get money to get reelected, and it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with reality. Because honestly, look at immigration. We bring this up for the last 150, 200 years. We've been bringing
Yeah.
this up.
Yeah.
And if people wanted to solve it, if it's really a problem in the first place, or if people really want to solve it, it'd be done. It would
Yeah.
be so done. I mean, but no, it's too good to let go of. It really is. Most problems are. Abortion is too good to let go of.
It's too juicy. That's a good point.
Harder, expensive to build.
What's that?
I said a concrete wall isn't really that hard or expensive
Oh,
to
no.
build. Look at
Look.
Berlin.
These are useful conflicts that divide the voters.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
And if you use
I'm
the
sorry.
right amount of ones, you'll get more. Your base. If you say, "Hey, look, the immigrants are coming,"
Hilarious, Para. I just
know?
read your comment. Yeah, no, that's right, dude. I agree.
I
Well,
just
it's
don't see.
demonization. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't see if they really wanted to stop abortion or whatever. There are ways of doing that, but they want to keep it contentious enough. This year, it's going after Planned Parenthood. I mean, it's, and Donald Trump brings up immigration. These aren't issues that we couldn't
And a
solve.
lot of it's just smoke and mirrors. Trying
Oh,
to
yeah.
keep you from looking
It's
at
all
something
smoke
else
and
they're
mirrors.
doing on the slide that's all shady and fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, especially being over a year before your bloody elections. Of course, it's smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Well, just like on the abortion thing, and I look at it this way: abortion should not be illegal. I don't care what you can be for it, against it, whatever. But
Some abortions should be
I
mandatory.
I should not be forced to have a child that I do not want. I
Exactly.
should be able to go into a clean medical environment and get rid of the problem fetus, whatever you want to call it. I
Mhm.
should not be forced to have a child I do not want.
And on the
Okay.
same hand, I think that if you get pregnant, you should have to take a test. And if you fail the fucking test, you get an abortion. If you're just going to raise a fucking somebody that's just going to drag America down.
No, that's an extreme view. No.
No, I think
I
you're. I think
know
you're,
it's
if you-
extreme, but god damn it,
If you do that,
Billion
you're on.
fucking people I've met need it.
Who sets up the standards?
If you do that, you're on the border of violating someone's rights, though, man. You can't.
Well, the question for me is, do you want the government to decide this for you?
No.
They have
Right,
no right
that's the
to.
issue.
I mean,
That is the issue.
to either ban abortions or force it, because once they have the right to once the government has the right to make the choice for people, they can choose either way.
Right.
Well, the thing is, regulation is keeping it on the choice of the citizen.
And the whole thing about it is, whether it's illegal or not, it's still going to happen.
Okay.
Women
how
are
about
just
this?
going to
If you
go into dangerous situations by an unlicensed person, and you talk about women dying in mass. Outlaw abortion, and it's going to go right back to the way it was back in the day when you had to go to some back alley hack that you might bleed to death before you even get to the hospital. No, I'm not for that.
Yeah. And also, especially since the only real argument against abortion is from an emotive stance, never, ever a scientific one. That includes religion. And detaching yourself from that, you know, going back to the animal thing again, too, as Raven said, you know, or whatever you want to call it, you know, fetus or child, it's a potential human, just like everything, you know. But so is a sperm a potential human if it meets an egg. You know, it's a nonsensical, fallacious having to make a distinction. Until that umbilical cord is cut, that baby cannot survive on its own, and it may not survive even after that. Right, but you can't abort.
It baffles me, guys, seriously, my North American and Central American friends, that we're even having this discussion. I mean, for a country that has reaped the benefits of a capitalist economic and social healthcare program for the best part of 90 years, one way or another, the idea of our healthcare, of an abortion not being like something like an illegal thing or not mandatorily, you know, blatantly available from any clinic, is something that we couldn't even fathom.
We in Canada, that was answered quite a few number of years ago. So I can't give you the exact date. I'm sure Wikipedia has it. Actually, I do know. But I do know this, and this is the only kudos that I will give to PM Harper, is that when somebody in the Parliament attempted to bring up the abortion question, Harper said no and shut him down. And that's the only kudos out to that fucker.
Oh, the Canadian Parliament, I tell you what, man, they're my favourite House of Parliament in the world right now of all the Commonwealth nations. Oh, thank you very much.
And they were recently put on display by John Oliver, too, on Last Week Tonight.
Yeah. Was John Oliver trying to make mockery of them?
Oh, yes. Oh, he was doing the diva fit that they were having not too long ago, and just saying it's the most polite arguments, you know, bitch slapping I've ever seen. And just, oh, you got to see the episode. That's great.
I love the fact that this is a House of Parliament that almost unanimously, I think it was about 70% vote, decided that no, people don't have a religious exemption to wear headscarves or face coverings inside banks and other public buildings. No, there's going to be no religious exemption. And people are like, oh, Canada's Islamophobic and racist. And it was quite awesome because the majority of the House members that actually signed on that were actually, you know, ethnically minorative, female, all sorts, and they're all like unanimous. There wasn't like some, you know, quite often in America you get this false, we're all together sort of fake put up for you know, media programs, whereas in Canada, you guys are a former Commonwealth nation like us. I think there is a bit more natural integrated camaraderie than a lot of our American friends get to experience. Would you say there's any validity in that, or am I just barking up the wrong tree?
Oh, I would say because, and it's in the culture of the individual.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
that's the Commonwealth right there, isn't it, brother? It's all about the individual Commonwealth citizen. Hey.
Yes, but understanding that you are part of the community because you didn't build that.
Well, see, I think a big major problem that's always been one of our big problems in America is the fact that there are so many Christians who really do believe that this country was based on Christian values. And it's like, if you are not Christian, if you're atheist, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's that the majority, if the majority is Christian, then we all have to live in a society where, whether you're Christian or not, you still have to follow whatever mandates they set. And I'm glad to see that that's finally starting to change, that atheists are standing up and saying, look, you know what, we're tired of this. We understand that you're Christian, yes, but I don't agree with you.
Yeah, and that started, I think,
Secular nation, you don't like it, you can get out.
and I think that started primarily after it was put on the money in God We Trust in the 50s to quote-unquote combat cultural communism because they latched onto it. It was a mantra for them. Here, we've got proof now. We can use that.
And there's too much emphasis on, well, if you don't like it here, then get out. I would never say that, to get out. I mean, that's used too loosely. Not everybody feels that way.
If you want to live in a Christian nation, go find one. Go fucking found one.
Exactly.
This is a secular nation. If you don't,
we need to learn how to leave each other alone. Believe what you want to believe, but stop dictating everyone else's life based on what you think is right.
Go ahead, Paul.
The saying should be, improve it or lose it.
Yeah.
Prove the system or lose the system. Not, love or leave it.
There you go.
I had somebody say that to me one time. You don't love it, you don't leave it. I said, I'm a warp it. Don't tell me where I can go.
Thank you.
Can I
Yeah, well,
do
see,
that?
I'm in one of the most highest rated living condition countries in the world in that. And you know what? I would adopt your form of governments over my Commonwealth as much as I extol the virtues of the Commonwealth, if it was actually practiced letter to the word.
Agreed.
Seriously. Would you agree with that, Para?
I would agree. I actually lived in the States for 2 years and got a taste of what it was like down there. I'm back in Canada, let's put it that way. But I agree, I'm with Hitch. That's why he came over, because he loved that secular document, and it emboldened him to continue more. And that is an advancement for humankind in general, in my belief, because it affects the culture. But the politics have allowed things to degrade and get away from the quote-unquote spirit of it, especially with this whole fucking religion thing. No, it says no, fucking no, because you can't favor one or else everything. It was to stop Christian sex from killing each other, for fuck's sake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no gray area. There's no gray area. No. We set this state up specifically so this outfit, the Tambrian Baptists and the Anglicans from over the fucking creek in Missouri, I believe, couldn't fucking have their civil war with each other.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's not control. It's just saying, if it is public land, no, because that means it is for every citizen, and you cannot favor a religion in a public space because you're saying strictly that some citizens are not American.
Well, and it's just like, exactly. And another thing, too, is look how many times you can say something that somebody just doesn't agree with, and you're racist, or you're sexist, or you're... Well, you know what? What if somebody is racist? That is their freedom of speech. Yes, they're an asshole. Yeah. Yes, they're racist. But still, they have a right to express themselves, too. I mean,
Got it. And Canada does have free speech. However, they have hate laws as well, because we don't have full free speech. We have reasonable speech.
Yeah.
So it covers you can't, say fire.
The problem with that, Perry, is we got it here too, bud. We've got that paper clipped here now, and the problem is I've had this argument with some people on here before. I think they got quite upset with what I was saying because they disappeared on us. But basically, we've got online defamation laws, which have been paperclipped into essentially anti-blasphemy laws, and they're being used as a veto, as a proximity for blasphemy laws in New Zealand, because we've got tons of New Zealand Muslim immigrants from all across the Middle East and all from Central South Africa, and a lot of them integrate well and love New Zealand and just can't be grateful enough to be part of this Kiwi community and Barbies and that. Others do not integrate well. Others are beating the wives. Others are mutilating the genitals of the younger females in their population, and the police are turning a blind eye for political squeamish reasons. This is New Zealand, the clean green little place, and there's a little fucking Lord of the Rings world. Well, guess what? The worst things that the Caliphate has to offer are happening right here, and it's not. And I'm not even exaggerating. And the bottom line is that I can't voice this publicly. I thought about doing a channel for a while, but if I was to quote direct scripture from Quran, which I have read, and the Hadiths, and actually not even infer my own political opinion on that one way or another, that could be considered hate speech. If you mirror a video from ISIS, you will be called an Islamophobe. And people will run the mural line at you, which is, well, they're not true Muslims. I mean, their leader is a Islamic scholar graduate with two PhDs. Sorry, he's the leader of a school of thought, but him and his followers are not true Muslims. I mean, I'm sorry. And this is, again, it's coming from my own team, the left. I mean, I'm a classic liberal. I uphold liberal principles, and what Raven said just then was bang on. People who say the shit that's horrible, like, this is why I disagree with the hate speech laws and the whole anti-Nazi thing is, I think neo-Nazis are fucking douchebags. I think they're wrong, and I think they're a bunch of cunts. However, my end goal does not see them not being able to speak as it is now. My end goal means that those who have the most abrasive speech, the speech we want to hear the least, still are allowed to open and view their opinions too. Let them air their opinions. Let's air out their opinions so they themselves can also see how stupid and how unhelpful they are. The best way to sometimes eliminate silly ideas is not to let them cloister and fester. It's to let them out in the open. Well, here's your microphone, bud. Here's your 10 minutes. Where you go? Tell me why black people are evil. Tell me why white people are evil. Tell me why Asians are evil.
And that's why I say the internet is the second most greatest invention man ever made next to the plow, because it brings us all together. And throughout history, progress only happens, and more peaceful culture only happens with bringing everybody together. Yeah, they're going to duke it out a little bit, but it's better overall. The Library of Alexandria. Okay, early Islam, the Islam Enlightenment, it was so inclusive. They had Jews up there. Come on.
Absolutely, no, that's right. Well, see, we've got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is my thing. I got a diploma in theological history quite a few years ago before I started my business studies, and I have to say, I think it reworked the way my brain worked, because I was never this logical or critical as a young fellow. I was a shit monkey. I was doing the same shit monkey thing every other long-head, metal-head shit monkey does. Okay? Just being honest. Just perfectly honest. Okay? Why anything else? Why disturb the premise of a lifetime? But anyway, rewired my brain thinking, and the Carthaginian people were a Middle Eastern culture that existed in modern-day Syria, Jordan. And they are the folks who gave us, in history, the architecture of the minaret. The minaret was actually the token architecture of these people. These people existed about 2 major dynasties before the time of Muhammad. And essentially, they had a large vestige of culture. It was a reasonably egalitarian culture. Women could own business and that. Women quite often wore their breasts out in society and that. And quite often you see these depictions in some of the older buildings and structures in Jordan and Iraq. The empire was expansive as, essentially they set the precedent for the. These people were astrologically inclined, very star observy type folk, and this tradition was inherited by the early Bedouin Arabs, who eventually became the Wahhabists, who were the core posse that splintered after the time of Muhammad's death and ended up becoming what we call modern today Sunni Shia, who eventually, one moved into the Persian culture and one moved back into the more Salafist, more Bedouin-orientated culture. These were the tent folk. They lived in a tent. That was their thing. Yeah.
And then it got quiet.
Excuse me. Back.
It got a little quiet in here.
I don't know. I look at it this way. I don't want to live in a world where I have to watch everything I say and, walk around in constant fear that I'm going to offend someone. I was just raised that healthy debate is a good thing. I mean, I don't want somebody to agree with everything I say all the time because there's something wrong with someone like that.
If you live in a, you're not living in a
Stand
free.
on that soapbox and scream at simple-minded people. The only good niggas dead me.
You're not living in a free society if you're not offended a few times a day.
Exactly. That's how you learn. That's how you learn. Because sometimes, everybody says things that, you'll look back and say, did I really say that? Maybe I was wrong. If you can't go back and look, that's how you have the ability to do that. You learn from saying things that are off color or, a little different than what everyone else has. That's how you learn.
Failure is always an option. It teaches you how not to do something once.
Maybe I shouldn't say that because I didn't mean to hurt that person's feelings. Or maybe I should have been a little harder on that person because they went out and did something really douchebaggy, and maybe if I had have said something, they might not have done it. It's healthy debate.
That's right. And if your fifis have been avoided being trampled on by any way or form to the point at which you're being infantilized, then I would question what really is the intent of the participant doing this. Is it because they have a genuine respect for you and they see you as a downtrodden, or is it because they have a lower expectation of your capabilities and you need your fifis looked after? Like this whole male feminist thing. I mean, I'm an egalitarian, which I would hold as equivalent to a second-wave feminist. I'm about upholding the equality of women and like providing equal right opportunities in the workforce, etc., for women, the emancipation from the home and that. And if women want to be lifestyle mothers, then they can do that too, and there shouldn't be any detrimental shame to it. But this third wave, where there's actually a politique behind it, this bell hooks is social Marxism. I can't condone, I can't abide by that. You know what I mean? And that honestly, Ravens, that's the camp. And they call themselves progressives. That's the camp where most of the, I would say, social engineering is trying to come from. I mean, more so than the far right. I mean, we know the far right's fucked. We all agree there. But the far left seems to be more pernicious in their methods.
Well, that's why I said earlier that the SJW seems to have affected everybody. Sorry, Paul.
No problem. Have you seen the latest Thunderfoot? I advise you to see it. I would advise you to see it.
Oh, about the UN?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
You know what's really sad, chaps? Do you guys know who Non-Stamp Collector is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He was on the Skeptic Fence show just earlier, and he was not only defending an Sarkeesian, but he demonstrated a 0% level of knowledge on the subject, and he was just like not so much defending it, but like, oh no, I totally disagree. I think she's getting those death threats. And Paul said 3 times, no, she did not get death threats. There was one bomb threat, and it was one of her own did it to fake to get sympathy.
Yeah. They said I remember that too. She said that somehow there was a bomb threat and someone sent her an email threatening and shit, and even the local police department, they're even determined that there was no credible threat at hand where she was supposed to be speaking, and she was basically lying out of her ass. So when she was confronted about the whole situation, right, she goes, well, what do you have to say about that? And her reaction to it was, where are my warriors? Where are my warriors?
Keyboards, come out and play, eh?
Well, you know this, these Gamergate conventions? They've had death threats. They've had bomb threats the last 7 conventions they've had.
Yep.
And nobody's talking about that. I mean, but Vernaculus did a thing on it, where the last 7 in a row have had bomb threats. So it's kind of like, you know, she's had one, I think, right? A death threat, but I think a lot of people have had death threats.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't have a channel, and I've had death threats.
Oh God, really? Seriously?
I don't typically do content. I've got a few Minecraft videos up. That's it, and I've gotten death threats.
Wow.
I haven't got no death threats yet. They just love to comment on my weight.
Surprisingly, neither have I.
I love your hate mail, Wyatt. I really do. I love those. I love those. I really. Those are my favorite that you do. I'm just. It appalls me that people can write that stuff and be a Christian.
Yeah, I started that hate mail series because I thought people would be interested in it, and I've got another one coming up pretty soon. I'm trying to collect some more, and it's coming in.
That's
you know
good.
what sucks quite is you keep finding material. The fact that you keep finding material. Hey. Never-ending supply of derp.
Well, I remember when Steve Shives used to do a local newspaper.
The king of derp.
But he used to do this local newspaper, little items in there. It was really quite good. I mean, that's the real shame of Steve Shives is there were a lot of things he did so well, you know, that I really enjoyed, and I miss that stuff, but I can't go to his channel.
Stupid things.
You know, PW, I want to thank you actually. Your video, and the meaning the argument that you put in, and I can't really see you the intersectionality video.
Oh, that one, yeah.
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell. You didn't take anything out of that, did you?
What's that?
You played it front to back. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if there was anything in it, so I had to assume you did a good job on it.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I think I trimmed some, like, you know, dead air and things like that, but I didn't want to misrepresent Steve.
Yeah, I don't feel you did.
Yeah, I mean, it was an issue where number one, the only thing I could come up with when I saw his video is that this is about feminism. This isn't about intersectionality.
Exactly.
And he came out with basically one of his last videos was why atheists need feminism.
Yeah. And you know what? I almost unsubbed him on that video.
Almost.
Hang on. And like PW said, a lot of, especially earlier stuff, there's a lot of good stuff there. Am I going to overlook this any longer? And
I wonder how much of it is that other person in the house.
Well, they're also both went to film school, basically. So, how much is it is character, or is it real? You have to ask that as well. Are they a partnership in this?
How much of it is money?
Exactly.
Yeah, it could be money, but how much is the?
Well, he exhausted. I think he exhausted his atheist following. I don't think it was growing. I think he grew it as much as he could, and to get it, I think he looks at it. I'm making a real leap here, and I have no evidence. But he did quit his day job when he started this whole thing. So I think he jumped in with the idea that this is where he was going to go, and there's honestly a better financed audience within the feminist camp than there is. I mean, atheists are kind of picky about who they give money to.
Yep.
I mean, that's the whole respect thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not about a movement. We don't do Patron over a movement. We do it over individuals.
Yeah.
Like Truth was saying earlier, about egalitarianism. There was something I wanted to at the same time, but I label myself egalitarian as well, because I see people as people. That's it. Everything else is secondary. You are alive and you're breathing and you're engaging. You are a person. Any other aspect of you is secondary.
Well, I personally think.
Hang on. But when an issue comes up and you happen to be female, then I'm a feminist in that respect. And then I take the hat off when not needed.
But as a female, I have to say that I personally think that feminism is out of control. I think
Yep.
that is what is pushed as feminism is out of control, and I think it is a way to bully men. It is. I mean, it's getting to where a man can't be a man.
Yeah.
SJW mentality, age of offense.
Yep.
The bottom line
I
of these guys is they come from a sex-negative perspective, which you think from a grassroots perspective totally changes the outlook on life. The most intimate, most important part of our lives when we're intimate with a partner is to them an act of violation. Think about that. That's fucked up.
That's early Catholic teachings. Come on.
And persecution and martyrdom. Oh,
they are the latest prudes, though, aren't they? They're the latest prudes.
Because you're so mean to women. Oh, women have it so hard. Women do not have it. Women have it better now than we ever have. What are you bitching about? You know, you can be anything you want to be. You can do anything you want to do. You want to be with a man, fine. If you want to be on your own and support yourself, you can do anything. Why are women so miserable? That's what I don't understand.
Because they're unhappy with themselves, for starters, I think.
Ever look at the 1800s? I bring it up a lot of times where a man, like, I remember watching Ken Burns' Civil War, and they're talking about when, Lee married his wife, and her property became his property. And then, not only that, if she had children, they became his to do with what he wanted. If he wanted to orphan them off, he could.
And culture still has remnants of that. There are still a lot of, Yeah,
but then I know a nephew of mine, his wife was into drugs and all that stuff. It's documented, and because she's a woman, she got the kids.
Yeah. There's a lot of old prejudices and
that
needs reevaluation.
Yeah, and I know it goes the other way too, and it shouldn't go that. It shouldn't be like that. That it's all or nothing.
Nobody wants to get involved, so they don't have all the information, or
As far as let me know what you think on this, Raven. But as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to these modern feminists that we have now, unfortunately, like Anita Sarkeesian or Brianna Wu or good old Jenny McDermott, people like that, I don't personally think that they can hold a candle to Susan B. Anthony or Ayaan Hirsi Ali, people that fight for really what matters, not the size of a tits in a fucking video game. You know what I mean?
That is the most ridiculous thing. They get pissed off over a video game? Are you serious? See, that I don't understand that. Okay, I look at it like this. I do not also want to live in a world where a man can't be a man and have a man cave and go out by himself with his friends and be a man. A man doesn't want to be around a woman all the time. A woman doesn't want to be around a man all the time. You're a man. I'm a woman. I want to go shopping. You want to go drink beer. Why do we have to set this one standard to where men have to be this way, and if they're not, racist, sexist, that's bullshit.
Ravens,
it's bullying.
You enjoy feminine things is that you're a victim of social engineering. You see, your biological vestiges have no say in it. The fact of the matter is you've been convinced that you like those things.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's first world problems. It's first world problems.
Well, it is, but the thing is, it's pushing to. It's still a sense of ownership. You're in a relationship. You still don't own the other person, but people act as if you are owned one way or the other. That's projecting a stereotype of what they would think, or they would be, or they are.
And they're the same ones that if in the summertime you're wearing a halter top and you're showing your stomach, that you're a horrible woman buying into the male-dominated society of how you're... Shut up and get away from me. Go away. Yeah. It's bullshit to me. It's like, go away, go burn your bra somewhere else. I don't want to hear it.
Well, it's as repressive as the damn religious, you went to the beach, you were covered from your ankles to your neck. I mean, what the fuck?
Well, and I'm just not going to fit into their idea of what a woman's supposed to be. A woman can be anything she wants to be, not what some woman that looks like a man says they're supposed to. Sorry, yeah, I said it.
Yeah.
But it's the truth. It is the truth.
Is.
I mean, it's no one wants to address it, but I'll say it. I have no problem with it. I think that most of these feminazis, and that's what they are. I even look at them like, wow, that sounds like Nazi Germany right there. I just they don't speak for me.
Well, remember, the most times that people, homophobes, scream and rant, the most loudest ones are turning out to be gay themselves.
I mean, I have no problem with being, if you want to be gay, be gay.
Yeah.
But, don't expect that when you do something stupid that I'm not going to look at you like everyone else and say, that was really stupid. Oh, you're homophobic. No, I'm not. You're stupid.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the fact that you're dressed a certain way. It's just your actions were stupid. But see, we can turn around and play the victim card. Oh, you're homophobic or you're anti-feminist or, no, I'm not.
I had a kid play the race card on me in McDonald's once because they were being an asshole. Oh, shit.
Well,
Because I'm racist. Then ran out the door. Sorry, Peter.
I think one of the problems that comes up is that the media, of course, likes to over-dramatize a lot of things, and they'll play the things that are the most outrageous. What the problem I have with that is there are a lot of younger people or impressionable people or people who have no opinion and look at that and form an opinion about the world based on what they're seeing rather than what they're actually experiencing. You know what I mean? It becomes kind of a circle of self-fulfilling prophecies because they're seeing it, they assume it's a truth, so they assume it is part of their thinking, and we as a group need to promote skeptical thinking more and more and more. This is the time for that. I think this isn't so much the time for fighting about religions and that sort of thing, but more about being skeptical because our mindset as a nation, and I mean, I can criticize especially America all day long. My biggest concern is the mindset of where people are getting their information and where they're forming their opinions.
Yeah.
Well, it's like me as a female, I'm supposed to automatically be a martyr and a victim, like you said. I'm supposed to pay for hundreds of years of women's suffrage. I mean, come on, I can't even relate to that. I have never lived in a time period like that. Right. I can have empathy for the women's movement and how they had to fight to get a vote, fight to get rights, whatever, but I was not born in that era. I was born in a time period to where I can be anything I want to.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a victim and I'm not a martyr, and I don't relate to these women who take their womb and use it as a way to martyr themselves, a way to be a victim all the time. I'm not a victim. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And they get mad at you for not agreeing with them.
Yeah, most women that I know simply do not want to be discriminated against because they're women. Or because of their sex or their gender. That's the only thing that I see in common with the people I know. And what I see in the media, though, is a whole different kind of mindset, a whole different story. And I'm not sure that I buy into a whole lot of that, to be honest with you. I don't know that most people,
Well, and I also don't want to have special treatment because I am a female. If I'm paying to go to college, I want the same level of experience and, academically, I want the same thing as the men. I don't want you to treat me different because I'm female. Well, we're going to make the tests a little easier. No, because when I get out in the real world, that's not going to help me. That's going to hinder me.
There you go, Ravens. And that is exactly what an emancipated, self-independent woman sounds like. The complete opposite of what our SJW counterparts sound like. They are infantilizing themselves, and they expect women around them to share that narrative of being the victim, or they're a part of the problem. It is the classic cult mentality, which is what I think was Sargon. who made the point that it actually covers all the criteria of a cult now. They've even got their scary boogeyman in the sky, the patriarchy.
Yeah. Well, I describe SJWs, they're warriors. They're like the Crusades. You know, they have their own agenda. If you're an advocate for social justice, I'm all with you. There's a different mindset between the two, and it's all about their own personal ego. Leave it at the door for the issue.
And
you
what
may
I
be a
see,
part of it, but leave it at the door, your group.
Yeah,
well, what I
agree with
see
that.
a lot too is, all right, a female will be in a certain situation, and instead of learning from what they did wrong and not repeating it, they just keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and they know what they're doing. Everyone else knows what they're doing. They're playing martyr and victim and drama queen.
You want to know
You
somebody
don't
who...
learn from your mistakes. You're supposed to learn from that and not do it again and not keep being a victim.
Exactly. There's a person around who's very good to talk about this, because not only was she around for First Wave, okay, but she's also a lesbian. Her name is Jade. Most of you should know her. Her YouTube name is something else. Shoot. Marith, I'll get her YouTube channel name. But she can speak for 4 hours. She can speak quite authoritative on the subject of feminism and what it's turned into.
And then when you look at their age and you think, okay, if you were 20, I would get it. If you were 30, okay. But at your age and you're still doing this, you might want to go talk to someone, because you're not learning from your mistakes, and I can't feel sorry for you when I don't relate to you.
Yep.
But I look
Because
at
you're playing
well-
this feminism shit until it's a disease.
But I look at part of it this way is, if I'm seeing somebody in the media, I ask myself too, are they making money doing this? Because that to me plays a big part of it.
I think all of you should fucking kill yourselves, you fucking pieces of shit. Fucking
Kick him.
trash.
Kick him.
I'm blocking him right now.
Fuck you, you ugly as like,
Oh, what a boy. What's your matter? What's your major malfunction, numbnuts? Did Daddy not love you when you were a child?
Jesus Christ, you fucking bitch.
Can you kick him?
Fucking
No,
Jim.
I'm blocking him. Okay, kick him now.
alright, bitches, bro. Really, fuck you. Shit. Fucking suck. Fuck.
Recognize that. For everybody blocking.
Hold on, I'll be right there.
Hit the ignore.
Wait a second, guys. Okay, let's talk serious. So, gentle. Well, I'm trying to say that, fucking, fuck,
You were saying something along the lines of, I'm a whiny little bitch. I won't show my face. I don't have a voice. I am too insecure to actually state my claim. Something along those lines? So you were just saying, I'm a whiny little bitch. Oh, there you go.
I booted him. I just had to block him on Google Plus real quick and YouTube, so he can't come in anymore.
Yeah, good. Because I've seen that avatar before, and he's more than likely going to change the avatar into an animated GIF, and it's porn. So.
Yeah. Dumb son of a bitch. Get the fuck out of my fucking channel, motherfucker.
Trolls.
I mean, if he's got a counter argument, let him have his 5 minutes, and then we can eviscerate him with logic.
Well, the thing is, back in the BBS days, I mean, you had good trolls. They'd actually, oh yeah, block that one.
Did he already leave?
Yeah.
He already left, but oh.
Hold on, let me block him.
Yo, boy, have you ever heard of Shrek the Elder? Oh, he's good. He lives in a swamp.
I think that's his real voice.
What?
He's probably like fucking 10 or 12.
You're getting troll bombed. Watch your email. They'll probably start flagging you next.
Allahu Akbar.
All right, he's done. Anybody else?
Oh, well, that was interesting. That was special.
Who the fuck, another one?
Yeah.
God damn, these fucking people have nothing better to do.
Oh, they're
They just keep
children.
lining up to die.
Good.
Little children.
Make my fucking block list bigger.
100 socks, and then I get all about them now. Oh. Yeah, he's not kicked yet.
Anyway.
Someone else needs to kick Hitler.
I'm doing it now. Hold on.
Okay.
I was just trying to find his YouTube channel, but he doesn't have it linked, so. Oh well.
I hope that wasn't somebody that username.
Goodbye. Another one right here. Another one.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing with open join.
That tells me how old they are. The fact that they're playing Roblox means they're probably no more than 13, 14 years old, or they might be special.
Oh, they're very special.
They're special.
Little children just won't grow up.
Ooh.
Age is a number. It's all about maturity.
I think Roblox editor might have been a real human who actually was older than that and realized they're playing a game fit for children. Yes, Roblox editors. Roblox is made for under 14s. Dumbass.
Well, here comes the chat spew. Oh, boy.
Aw, Pony, how sweet. Here, you motherfucker. I know exactly.
Fuck you, piece of shit fucking bitches. Look, suck kids, fuck you. Fuck you.
Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Akbar!
Fuck you, fuck man, you sucking piece of shit, big whore.
I guess all the Russians are
fuck boy, suck my dick, fuck boy.
Alright, well, I'm going to drop because I fucking need a stalker Thank you for the chat.
Keep muting them, guys.
Have fun. We'll talk to you later.
Little bitches, Hanson lands, sitting in the tree.
Bitches, boy, I'll fuck you, bitch.
Little bitches,
I hope you fucking cancer is bitches, boy.
Bitches,
I hope you get
Johnny
cancer,
Hanson lands.
I hope you get cancer, bitches, boy. Bitches, boy, fuck boy, fuck boy, fuck boy, suck my dick.
I would suck it, bro, but I need a microscope to find it.
Please give me
Suck my dick, boy. Fucking boy, piece of shit.
Bro, maybe one day, bro.
Shootings were fake Illuminati.
Lance thought he had a dick till pus came out of it. He realized it was just one more boil next to his mangina.
That was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Stupid motherfuckers.
Oh, good fun.
I couldn't block them all like I wanted to, but oh well. That's cool. You're stupid motherfucker. Oh, here's another one.
Oh boy, oh boy, do I hate gay people. Oh boy,
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You're a fucking retard. Oh boy.
Hey
How do you set up the thingy to make sure peeps are like got real profiles?
What's that?
Well, I mean, most of these people, they're just spamming profiles.
Hello?
It's the same 3 or 4 douche. Are you a real person there? What's that chap's name?
Yes,
Numa?
I am. Man,
You're not a
I'm
a
real.
troll. I mean,
I'm not familiar.
here's one.
Not familiar with the term troll.
You have autism. You may not notice, but you do. You don't even wear undertrousers.